is Assam.
In a lot of places,
Situ wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia, actually in situ.
The uniqueness of Situ Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature. What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also
Situ wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia, actually in situ.
the uniqueness of Situ Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature. What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also Majlis Daerah to support the product that we have from our boardwalk. We prolong it to our community. The visitors, the audience can get local products from Situ Wetland so that the community can give back and also get back on nature products.
Kita ada dekat Pulau Busung. Sebenarnya kat Pulau Busung ni, ini adalah checkpoint untuk cari lokan. Dekat sini dia ada dua spesies lokan. Normally kita ada lokan lumpur dan juga longkang pasir.
Actually, this package, I have 3 elements. For the one element is education. So, education for the mangrove, education for the flora and fauna. Second is element is fun. So, and then the third element is historical.
one of our main or our aim is to help the local community here to highlight their traditional knowledge and also empower them to do education tourism. So we train them to be a wetland teacher where
you look at time, obviously, but we are slightly delay, but no worries, more or less. just proceed with the destination of the panel session each one. Yeah? But of course, the first panel session will be about sustainable communication and digitalization, importance to the tourism industry, and the moderator will be by Ms. Officiating, and it will be held here at the Kenya Grand Ballroom, Wing 5 and Level 2. And as a reminder to the speakers, the well-known speakers, we're going to have Dr. Wei Chuanbeng, the chairman of Digital Way Group Champion. We're also going to have Professor Dr. Ahmad Zakidin, the Dean of Institute of Technology. And we're also going to have Mr. T.S. Mauricio Vilmo, the CEO of the project. So I do believe our Madam of VIP
Situ wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia, actually in situ.
The uniqueness of Situ Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature. What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also Majlis Daerah to support the product that we have from our boardwalk. We prolong it to our community. The visitors, the audience can get local products from Situ Wetland, so that the community can give back and also get back on nature products.
Kita ada dekat Pulau Busung. Sebenarnya kat Pulau Busung ni, ini adalah checkpoint untuk cari lokan. Dekat sini dia ada dua spesies lokan. Normally kita ada lokan lumpur dan juga longkang pasir.
Actually, this package, I have 3 elements. For the one element is education. So, education for the mangrove, education for the flora and fauna. Second is element is fun. So, and then the third element is historical.
One of our main or our aim is to help the local community here to highlight their traditional knowledge and also empower them to do education tourism. So we train them to be a wetland teacher where they teach people that come, the visitors that come to the Situ Wetland, not only about the nature in Situ Wetland but also the part on heritage, the part on livelihood of the people here.
Okay, so this is the filling of the sata. We have fish, then onion, garlic, and this is asam.
In a lot of the local community just be the people that see the development of tourism, but they do not get anything from the industry. So we emphasize that local community should be benefit from the tourism.
Whatever UNDP and doing it right now, I think it's a good effort. It's a good platform with the communities, NGOs, government agency to sustain not only tourism, ecotourism, but nature itself.
Laka di dalam projek pelancongan lestari di bawah UNDP ni bukan sekadar menyediakan kertas kerja atau laporan di peringkat awal.
Her Excellency Ms. Manon Benia, Deputy Representative for UNDP Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei Darussalam. The Honourable Ms. Robinsama Yusof, Champion, Tourism Productivity in Nexus. The Honourable Ms. Molita Saihani, Senior Project Specialist, UNTourism.
It's live, ah? Live. On you right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. The national anthem, Negaraku. And now, before we proceed with our program today, let us seek blessings and pray for a smooth and successful venture. We'd like to invite now Mr. Farooq Amri to come up and lead us in a dua recital. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ya mujibas sa'ilin. On this special occasion of World Tourism Day, we seek your guidance and blessings. May our efforts to promote tourism be responsible, sustainable, and respectful of the environment and all peoples. Help us to honor and protect the natural beauty and cultural heritage you have entrusted to us. Ya Allah, protect and preserve the environment, our landmarks and cultural treasure. Make us responsible stewards, mindful of future generations. Bless this event, Ya Allah, and all who are present. May it inspire cooperation and goodwill among participants, and may it contribute to the promotion of peace, respect, and sustainability in all our travels. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much.
Good morning once again to all our esteemed guests, partners, and colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now share with you a special montage featuring the Sustainable Tourism Project Impact by UNDP.
Situ wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem.
Daerah Mesing sebenarnya fokus kepada daerah pelancongan, yang mana kita terlibat secara langsung dengan adanya pulau-pulau sebanyak lebih kurang dalam 95 pulau dan juga batuan dalam daerah Mesing. Kepentingan Sustainable Project ni yang utamanya sebenarnya kita nak mengketengahkan produk-produk pelancongan dalam daerah Mesing ni, termasuklah kalau ada pelancongan-pelancongan baru, dan juga kita nak lebih tonjolkan daripada segi operator-operator yang terlibat, termasuk juga peninggalan-peninggalan tempatan supaya mereka ni boleh lebih berkembang dan orang tahu kewujudan sebenar produk-produk pelancongan dalam daerah Mesir.
Our mission is to protect and conserve biodiversity in the Mersing Island.
Waste management for solid waste, wastewater, and also about community development and sustainable tourism lah.
Harapan saya untuk pulau ni agar sektor pelancongan membiak berkembang dan maju di samping mengekalkan ekosistem yang ada.
mana di Stew kita mempunyai pantai yang panjang, bukit bukau yang menawan serta air terjun yang sangat unik di Stew. Selain daripada itu, Stew juga mempunyai satu khazanah iaitu Stew Wetland. Kami ada pelbagai usaha yang kami nak buat. Keduanya latihan kepada player-player.
Berkenaan dengan projek yang kita buat kerjasama dengan UNDP ni, kita lebih fokuskan kepada island-island ataupun pulau yang ada di negeri Terengganu yang meliputi Pulau Redang, Pulau Perhentian dan juga Pulau Kapas.
Dia sekarang terbagi pada 3. Yang di Pulau Perhentian. Yang di Pulau Perhentian, satu untuk bangunan rumah sampah ni dan juga bangunan composting machine, dan yang kedua kita ada program awareness untuk program kita semula dan juga composting punya prosedur and all lah. Then the last one is pembekalan tong sampah.
Sebab kalau dari segi pelancongan ya, kita memang melihat bahawa kawasan yang mempunyai banyak impak negatif itu adalah kawasan yang pelancongannya agak dense lah. Another pollution is daripada wastewater. Wastewater will still go into the sea.
Manjung bandar pelancongan Ameritik sebenarnya. Jadi bandar pelancongan ini sinonim dengan Manjung, dan kalau di negeri Perak ini daripada 12 daerah yang ada di negeri Perak, memang kita adalah salah sebuah daerah yang memang terkenal dengan produk-produk pelancongannya lah. Kami di Majlis Perbandaran Manjung merasa sangat teruja dan bersyukur kerana menjadi salah satu daerah ataupun lokasi yang terpilih di bawah program UNDP ini. Kami melihat bahawa seharusnya komuniti ataupun industri player pelancongan di daerah Manjung sewajarnya mendapat manfaat terbaik daripada program yang kita bangunkan bersama ini, dan kita ingin melihat bahawa ia bukan hanya sekadar di kalangan pemain industri ataupun yang sedia ada, tetapi juga mungkin kita akan dapat melihat pemain-pemain baru yang akan dapat mewarnai arena pelancongan di daerah Manjung.
Boleh kerja macam orang-orang yang buat design-design baju, saya akan buat design-design untuk kitchen, dan juga kalau kita ada pergi event, mungkin saya akan buat design untuk backdrop event tersebut.
Saya melihat ada sikit keceriaan kepada penduduk. Kalau dahulu mereka hanya dapat satu hari upah RM4 sahaja untuk memasak dari ejen pelancongan, tetapi sekarang mereka dah jadi pemilik kepada syarikat aktiviti selam scuba. Mereka sendiri yang bawa pelancong untuk menyelam. Jadi daerah Mersing ni diurus sendiri oleh anak-anak Mersing sendiri.
Antara sebab utama saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi pendidikan saya adalah kerana saya nampak Mersing ni mempunyai potensi dalam bidang pelancongan. Kerana apa? Mersing ni mempunyai banyak pulau-pulau yang cantik yang sangat berdekatan dengan Mersing, di antaranya Pulau Besar, Pulau Tioman dan Pulau Au. Selepas saya dapat sokongan padu daripada Mersing Tourism Association sendiri dan juga pihak UNDP sendiri, alhamdulillah hasil pada latihan dan juga sokongan padu tu saya dapat kenakan gaji antaranya RM5,000 sehingga ke RM8,000.
Perkara ini dikawal melalui mitos. Jadi setiap ejen perlu memasukkan data. Jadi dari segi pengkalan data, jumlah pelancong yang datang ke Mersing pun kami boleh dapat statistik dari negara mana. Kemudian dari segi perancangan masa hadapan pun kami boleh buat
yang mengenai tourism apa semua ni. Untuk permulaan ni saya bermula sebagai graphic designer dan content creator lah. Saya buat design-design baju, saya akan buat design-design untuk kitchen, dan juga kalau kita ada pergi event, mungkin saya akan buat design untuk backdrop. Saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi pendidikan saya.
Dulu mereka hanya dapat Pemilik kepada syarikat aktiviti selam scuba, mereka sendiri yang bawa pelancong untuk menyelam. Jadi daerah Mersing ni diurus sendiri oleh anak-anak Mersing sendiri.
Antara sebab utama saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi pendidikan saya adalah kerana saya nampak Mersing ni mempunyai potensi dalam bidang pelancongan. Kerana apa? Mersing ni mempunyai banyak pulau-pulau yang cantik yang sangat berdekatan dengan Mersing, di antaranya Pulau Besar, Pulau Tioman dan Pulau Au. Selepas saya dapat sokongan padu daripada Mersing Tourism Association sendiri dan juga pihak UNDP sendiri, Alhamdulillah hasil daripada latihan dan juga sokongan padu tu saya dapat kenaikan gaji antaranya RM5,000 sehingga ke RM8,000.
Perkara ini dikawal melalui mitos. Jadi setiap ejen perlu memasukkan data. Jadi dari segi pengkalan data, jumlah pelancong yang datang ke Mersing pun kami boleh dapat statistik dari negara mana. Kemudian dari segi perancangan masa hadapan pun kami boleh buat dengan jumlah statistik yang ada. Kita dari pihak kerajaan bersama dengan pihak UNDP, kita akan bagikan apa kemahiran. Contohnya kita dah bagi mereka kemahiran bahasa Inggeris. Kita dah bagi mereka latihan yang berkaitan dengan kaedah snorkeling supaya tidak merosakkan kita punya terumbu karang.
Dia punya impact selepas latihan ni sangat memberi kesan yang sangat bagus dan hebat pada saya sebab saya boleh berkomunikasi secara baik dengan pengunjung di dalam negara dan juga di luar negara dengan confident.
Kutip sampah mudah, simpan itu lebih mudah, tetapi cabarannya ialah apakah mesin yang kita nak gunakan supaya kita dapat recycle kembali. Daripada plastik boleh menjadi souvenir dan cenderamata. Daripada cenderamata boleh dibawa pulang, boleh dikongsikan. Rasa rindu, rasa kasih, rasa ingatan kepada seluruh keluarga yang sedang menanti di rumah.
Good morning once again to all our esteemed guests, partners and colleagues. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. It is an honor to welcome you to the Sustainable Tourism Conference 2024, held in conjunction with the World Tourism Day. Today we gather with a shared commitment to rebuild tourism resilience and readiness through sustainable practices. This conference, organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture and UNDP Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei Darussalam, and the Tourism Productivity Nexus, marks a pivotal step in Malaysia's efforts to align with global sustainability goals. We are here not to just discuss the future of tourism, but to also shape it through thoughtful collaboration and action. World Tourism Day, observed annually, highlights the far-reaching impact of tourism on economic growth, cultural exchange, and sustainable development. This year's theme, Tourism and Peace, Rebuilding Tourism Resilience and Readiness Through Sustainable Tourism, underscores how peace within tourism can be achieved through economic stability, social inclusion, and environmental protection.
Angin lembut meningkah teluk, lalu di sawah menunduk padi. Indahnya alam tetap dipeluk agar kekal harmoni abadi. Today we have a package.
We will dive into various facets of sustainable tourism and later in the day
Split into panel sessions where industry experts will share their knowledge on topics ranging from digitalization in tourism to sustainable community-based tourism practices. So without further ado, let us begin this wonderful journey together.
It is now my pleasure to invite Ms. Manon Bernier, Deputy Resident Representative of UNDP Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei Darussalam, to stage to deliver her welcoming remarks.
Good. Okay. Honorable Dr. Yasmin Yassin, Deputy Secretary General, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Honorable Dr. Horizam Mohamed Yusuf, Champion Tourism Productivity Nexus. Honorable Ms. Molita Sarihani, representative of UNTourism, distinguished guests, tourism champions, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, selamat pagi, a very good morning to all. It's a very big pleasure for me to open this conference and host this conference together with very close partners, co-organizers, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, MOTAC, and the Tourism Productivity Nexus, with whom we have been working through this project, but really in trying to move together and bring more importance to sustainable tourism in Malaysia. I think the number of people representing, I'm told, very diverse sectors, from private sector, NGOs, community representative, as well as government official, really show stakeholders are coming together, really coming together to discuss the important issues of how can we move forward with strengthening sustainable tourism in Malaysia. I think the World Tourism Day, let me put a little bit of context, has been observed since its founding by the United Nations World Tourism Organization in 1980. And it's really a reminder to humanity of the great power of tourism as a tool for social, cultural, political, and business growth, especially for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. So we are here, we took the opportunity of this important international day to come together to celebrate the World Tourism Day. And if we look at the theme of this year, Tourism Day, which is about tourism and peace, it's not only about celebrating travel, which I'm sure we all enjoy doing, but it's about recognizing tourism, the power of tourism to connect people and contribute to a more peaceful world. Celebrating tourism as a driver of peace, I think, is extremely important, especially in today's context of global crisis of different sorts. When tourism strives, it supports economic growth, social cohesion in communities, provide livelihood, and preserve dignity. Conversely, instability and crisis, when there's instability and crisis that we have seen under COVID, it really hinders tourism, and it's exacerbating poverty in the most affected region. In 2023, the tourism industry accounted for 10% of the world GDP, which is 1 in 10 jobs directly tied to this sector. So it's a huge economic driver in Malaysia, but in several countries in the world. Following the recovery trend showing that Malaysia welcomed 20.1 million international tourists in 2023 and 210 million domestic travelers in the country. This has resulted in revenue of $156 billion, with 71.3 from international tourism and 84.9 from domestic tourism. So while the numbers of tourists in Malaysia is almost back to pre-pandemic levels and really bringing back the economic impact and revenue that goes with it, if we want to build a more resilient tourism sector, which was strongly affected as we've seen during COVID, we really need and set sights higher than just increasing tourism number. We keep the number as one indicator, but we need to reimagine tourism as a driver of sustainable growth, where we place the preservation of natural asset at the forefront. It's also about creating innovative, low-impact tourism product, like you have seen several examples, working with community, fostering collaboration between government, NGO, the private sector, and community. By revitalizing tourism together, we can create not only economic prosperity, but also strengthening social cohesion and peace. Working in silo is no longer an option. Sustainability must be at the heart of our strategy, with local action, strong governance, and ensuring that we respond dynamically to challenges. A whole-of-industry approach is essential in shaping a resilient and inclusive future for tourism. In Malaysia, you have the National Ecotourism Plan, which was launched 2025, with its vision of tourism for protecting, preserving, and maintaining nature, way of life, and history. I think it sets a very strong foundation for sustainable tourism in Malaysia, as the plan cultivates mutual recognition among nearby groups, visitors, facilitating cultural trade, improving monetary and social well-being of society. It displays our perception that tourism is not just about the location or not about receiving visitors, but it's about human beings coming together, interacting, and sharing cultures and shared values. As you could see in the video, in 2022, we launched the Sustainable Tourism Recovery Project, which is an initiative led by UNDP and supported by the Ministry of Finance in partnership with MOTAC. This project aligns perfectly with the efforts to be a more resilient and sustainable tourism sector. So there was a very strong focus on this project to work in looking and exploring new models at the local level, working civil society, local governments, and private sector together. So we can really witness firsthand how sustainability can drive recovery, helping tourism to get better while also addressing environmental issues. By embracing a green, resilient, and inclusive approach to recovery, sustainable tourism opened doors for new earnings generation, employment opportunities, and economic boom. I think those efforts align carefully with the National Tourism Policy 2020-2030, which champions inclusivity, innovation, digitalization, and sustainability as key pillars for remodeling Malaysia's tourism region. So today's conference brings collectively various stakeholders, among which tourism institution, professional, the private sector, and government representative, with shared objective to foster a paradigm shift to sustainable tourism and accelerate sustainable practices on the ground. I think we want to move from a policy to action on the ground, how we support implementation. Very often at UNDP, we're asked to support that policy. Now we have enough policy. How do we make them happen actually on the ground? And this is why we are here together with our partners. Together, we're here we're shaping a future in which tourism will not only support financial growth, but promote peace, environmental stewardship, and social fairness. Let's not forget that sustainable tourism is not simply an aspiration, but it's a need. It's a must if we want to keep our planet, if we want to have a planet and inclusive society in the future. It is an essential pathway for Malaysia towards attaining peace by ensuring a balance between its current and future economic, social, and environmental impact. And for this, we need to address the needs of the visitors, the needs of the industry, the needs of environment, of our planet, and the needs of host communities. This is not an easy task, but looking at the number of you here today all together, I'm sure that we can share all our experiences and learn from one another and have all of you becoming strong champions wherever you are, which sector you are, which community you are from. I think together we can move this forward. So I wish you very good deliberation over the day, and I look forward to the outcome of the conference. This is not a one-off. We'll continue being there with all the stakeholders and continue support local action as well. Thank you.
Please join me in thanking Her Excellency Ms. Manon Bernier once again. Thank you for your reflections on the role of tourism in promoting peace and sustainability, as well as the need for resilient recovery post-pandemic. They're all highly relevant. The points you raised about Malaysia's ongoing efforts to balance economic growth with environmental and social responsibility provides important context for today's discussion.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to hear from the Honorable Dr. Yasmin Yassim, Deputy Secretary General Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia. Please give a warm round of applause to Dr. Yasmin.
Hello, my name is Yasmin Yassim. So I'll be delivering the officiating address this morning. Ms. Manon Bernier, Resident Representative, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei Darussalam. Mr. Rohiza Muhammad Yusof, Champion Tourism Productivity Nexus or TPN. Ms. Maulita Sarihani, Senior Specialist UNTourism. Distinguished speakers, representatives from federal ministries, agencies and state governments, and fellow advocates for sustainable tourism. Salam Malaysia Madani and a very good morning to all of you. Let me start by extending a warm welcome to everyone attending this World Tourism Day Conference 2024. This conference, a collaborative effort between MOTAC, the UNDP and TPN, is a testament to our shared commitment to building a more sustainable and equitable tourism industry. I'm happy to see the encouraging turnouts at this event. Speakers and participants indicating strong support from all stakeholders in the sustainable tourism agenda. This conference is held in conjunction with the World Tourism Day, celebrated annually on September 27th. This year, under the theme Tourism and Peace, highlights the importance of stability, social inclusion, environmental protection, and cultural exchange for socio-economic growth. By embracing sustainable tourism practices, we can strengthen the sector's resilience and contribute to a more peaceful and equitable world. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world with inherent challenges to sustainability, such as climate change, geopolitical tensions, and economic instability, we must stand together and take proactive approaches to address these challenges. Globally, we have seen how these threats affect economic growth and people's lives. Additionally, uncontrolled tourism also has detrimental effects on the livelihood and well-being of the local population by straining resources, housing, and other essential services, fostering animosity and hindering the industry's growth. Therefore, tourism, often seen as an economic driver, has the potential to be a powerful force for fostering peace and sustainability within and across a nation. It connects people across borders, allows us to experience diverse cultures, and stimulates economies. As we strive to safeguard global tourism through peace and sustainable practices, I'm reminded of the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who described travel as the language of peace. The Malaysian government has long prioritized social harmony, environmental protection, and inclusive economic growth, which is central to our 10-year National Tourism Policy 2020-2030. It aligns perfectly with the SDGs and 2030 agenda in its three pillars of competitiveness, inclusiveness, and sustainability. Within our means and capacity, Malaysia is trying to be one of the beacons of sustainable tourism practices in the region, if not the world. We understand and recognize that this world is not ours. We are borrowing it from future generations. Therefore, it is pertinent to protect and preserve our natural resources, culture, and heritage to ensure they can be passed on for generations to come. Among the initiatives Malaysia has taken to foster sustainable tourism is the development of UN International Network of Sustainable Tourism Observatories sites, or INSTO. I'm happy to note that MOTAC is working very closely with UNDP in identifying and subsequently developing potential INSTO sites in the country. This pilot initiatives goes beyond mere international recognition. What is most important, it focuses on evidence-based policymaking through local level monitoring. To ensure INSTO's long-term success and operational sustainability, we will be working closely with all stakeholders for it to be integrated into the 13th Malaysia Plan. To better integrate peace building into our nation's tourism agenda, we focus on creating tourism experiences that highlight the importance of social harmony and cultural coexistence. At the same time, supports local economies, particularly marginalized communities. The Homestay Experience Program is a great example of how tourism empowers the local communities by uplifting their income and quality of life while maintaining their rich cultural heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainable tourism is the belief that economic growth does not have to come at the expense of the environment of people. We must advocate for tourism that protects natural resources, preserves cultural heritage, and promotes social equity. By adopting these practices, we can help build more resilient communities that thrive economically and are better equipped to withstand external shocks such as climate change, political instability, economic downturns, and also, as we all know very well, pandemic like the recent COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia will soon take center stage as the ASEAN Chair 2025 and launch the Visit Malaysia 2026 campaign, focusing on sustainable and high-value tourism. We will also host the global celebration of World Tourism Day and World Tourism Conference 2025 in Malacca with the theme Tourism and Sustainable Transformation. Therefore, I encourage all stakeholders to collaborate and uphold high standards, showcasing Malaysia's best through sustainable practices. I hope all of you participate actively in the discussions and sessions through this conference. Together, let's work together towards a more sustainable and prosperous future. With that, I officiate the World Tourism Day Conference 2024. Thank you. Terima kasih.
I would like to invite Yasmin to stay. Experience in sustainable tourism in Malaysia.
I will now invite all three VIPs to join the Honorable Dr. Yasmin on stage. These champions have demonstrated exceptional commitment to driving sustainable tourism practices. The certificates will be presented by representatives from UNDP, MOTAC, and TPN. The UNDP Malaysia and Tourism Productivity Nexus organized a 6-month Sustainable Tourism Industry Champions Workshop consisting of 7 sessions. This program aimed to drive sustainable practices through targeted interventions, equipping participants with skills in areas such as climate change, biodiversity loss, labor market dynamics, and technological advancements.
The champions, grouped into 5 teams, were tasked with designing sustainable initiatives.
These champions have demonstrated outstanding commitment to advancing sustainable tourism practices across the nation. Certificates will be presented by lead representatives. I would like to invite all team members to present. Through capacity building programs that empower local communities to benefit directly from tourism. By supporting this initiative, Pahang can become a leader in sustainable tourism with scalable model aligned with SDG 17 for multiple stakeholder partnerships. Please. Thank you. And may you please return to your seats, Group 1.
And now we'd like to invite the second group, the Governance and Industry Readiness Group. Stakeholders fostering environmental stewardship and promoting hands-on learning for future generations. This initiative will involve schools, experiential learning to drive sustainability process, a 12-month training cycle across 50 schools with a budget of 50,000 per school will ensure practical action and collaboration among all partners. Supporting this initiative will drive social, economic, and environmental growth, positioning Malaysia as a sustainable tourism leader and contributing to SDGs 4, 11, and 13. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call on the next group, the Community-Based Tourism Group, CBT. Please join me in congratulating the CPT group proposes collaborating with local councils, stakeholders, and the private sector to make Sutio District a model for sustainable community-based tourism. The initiative will leverage Sutio's national assets like wetlands and cultural heritage to create tourism products that boost the economy while preserving authenticity. In partnership with UNDP and TPN, it will empower local communities to manage tourism offerings such as the Sutio Adventure Park and cultural workshops, creating economic opportunities and fostering ownership. Supporting this initiative promotes inclusive growth and aligns with SDGs 11 and 12, focusing on sustainable cities, responsible consumption, and heritage conservation. Thank you.
And now we'd like to move on to the next group. We invite the Digitalization Group. Ladies and gentlemen, the Digitalization Group is developing a tourism destination readiness dashboard to assess and rate destinations on sustainability, accessibility, and high-yield tourism readiness. The platform will provide transparent, data-driven insights for operators and tourists across Malaysia. In collaboration with TPN, UNDP, and technology partners, the dashboard will track key indicators like carbon footprint, conservation efforts, and visitor satisfaction, enabling feedback for service improvement and sustainability alignment. This will position Malaysia as a leader in smart, inclusive tourism, supporting SDGs 9, the innovation, and 13, climate action. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to call on the next group. which is the Capacity Building Group Green Gold Graduate Program. Please join me in congratulating them. The Capacity Building Group proposes the Green Gold Graduate 3G program, certifying university graduates with green skills and SDG-related competencies, particularly for the tourism industry. In collaboration with UNDP, TPN, and universities, the program integrates SDG training and practical sustainability projects. Graduates will gain skills in areas such as renewable energy and climate action, boosting the employability within the green economy. With the goal certifying 5,000 graduates annually, the initiative aims to drive green job creation and economic growth, aligning with SDG 4, education, and 8, decent work. Yeah. Thank you. Please may all champions return to their seats.
Terima kasih, kita jemput semua VIP untuk kembali ke tempat masing-masing. Terima kasih.
Sustainable tourism is truly commendable, and we thank you for your contributions to this vital cause.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now for our keynote address. We are honored now to have with us today the Honorable Mr. Rohizam Muhammad Yusof, Champion of the Tourism Productivity Nexus. Mr. Rohizam will be introducing part of the ongoing work in partnership between government, UNDP, and industry, which is the Sustainable Tourism Roadmap, and how industry champions like yourself are shaping the future of tourism. Please now welcome Mr. Rohizam to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam Malaysia Madani, salam sayangi Malaysia, dan salam produktif. Okay. Your Excellency Ms. Manon Benier, Deputy Resident Representative, UNDP, Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei Darussalam. Your Honorable Dr. Yasmin Yassin, Deputy Secretary General of Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, MOTAC, Malaysia. Your Honorable Ms. Molita Srihani, nice to meet you yesterday. Senior Project Specialist, Tourism of Rural Development Program, Market Intelligence Policy and Competitive Department, World Tourism Organization on UNTourism, Sustainable Tourism Champion from our Sustainable Tourism Industry Champion Workshop, speakers and panelists, representatives from various ministries, government agencies, private sectors, leaders, representatives, and all the participants today. Yeah. What I would like to share with you is a roadmap that everybody can be involved in doing sustainable tourism. Yeah. Well, most of us, or many of you may not be aware, they are SDG. We need to do a lot more marketing on SDG in Malaysia. But SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals, in which to look into the perspective of adopting by United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2020, all people enjoy peace and prosperity. I'd like to applaud UN for coming up with this framework for us to easier to build something, to be a framework along this SDG. But what we are here today, we talk about sustainable tourism. Yeah, sustainable tourism involves responsible travel, practice, and minimizing negative impact and natural environment to local communities by promoting economic development, preserving nature resources, protecting biodiversity, support local communities, and contribute to the well-being of both present and future generations. Many of us are aware of ecotourism. But sustainable tourism encompasses a larger role, a bigger responsibility. Now, not look into just the eco part, but everything that involves, especially like climate change, environment, and others. So, why SDG? Why sustainable development? Why sustainable tourism? Is tough. Not many put this as their priority. Yeah. So this is because whether we want to have more visitors or we want to limit the visitors, between balancing economic growth with sustainability. Then high cost to access to sustainable resources. I want to implement solar system in the house is also costly. So all these initial costs, or even to have a waste management system, but that either my priority now or what do I need to do to make it viable? Of course, we have lack of awareness and education, okay? Limited supportive infrastructures and policy. How are we going to do it? Whether we are doing it right or we're doing it wrong, whether the right way to do it is, and at the end of the day, okay, let's just wait and see. And we're becoming our attitude to wait and see, and managing the stakeholder expectation, because why we have so many conflict challenges implementing what is right about environment, how we economic imbalance, and especially the return of investment. So this already sounds complicated. So how do we make the sustainable tourism, how do we kickstart in our journey on sustainable tourism? So from many meetings, from many strategic sessions, we call experts, we combine Ministry of Tourism, Tourism Malaysia, UNDP, and we have 30 more other experts to come and assist us in building out what we call a tourism roadmap that everybody can be part of it. So how to kickstart? Two things. How we can empower the industry, make you the one who lead it, and we need very simple approach of this. What does all this mean? This is the reason why we came up with the industry champion workshop, okay? And hopefully, okay, for your information, when we started way back in April, there were 50 of them. But these are the ones who graduated, resilient, may be part of us until the end of the workshop yesterday. So now it's become their responsibility to promote sustainable tourism in Malaysia. But again, we need to give them a tools, that the tools can be used by them and also the tools that be used by you. And of course, like we had mentioned, we have so many policies, so many blueprints, so many documentation that everybody don't have time to read. Okay? Look at SDG alone. There's a 17 SDG, there are 169 targets. Raise your hand if everybody can remember all the 169 targets. I'll give you 100 ringgit now. Forget about the 169, even the 17 is not easy to remember. But again, with thanks to you and all the people involved in coming up with this framework to make it easier for us to adopt. In Malaysia, we follow our government. Okay. All right. Our Prime Minister initiated what they call Malaysia Madani with a 5 finger, and all represent from innovation to your human being, reflection, and all that. Adopting from that, we also come up with another 5 finger, what we call Sayangi Malaysia. Okay? And what is this all about? It's just a campaign with a 5 finger that all the finger represents how we're going to protect and work on the sustainable tourism. Finger number 1 is to protect our environment. Number 2, value our culture. Number 3, preserve our heritage. Number 4, empower our community. And number 5 is enrich our knowledge. So what we do, we read all the document, we call all the experts, we study SDG, and we're trying to come up with a simplified approach to all of you. So no excuse that you cannot do it. All right? And this roadmap to address issues as reducing carbon emission, conserving natural resources, supporting local economies, preserve culture, heritage, and promoting responsible travel. And again, even with this 5, we're trying to even simplify it more. Okay, don't worry. I have my clock here. So we came up with another one. By having that 5, we have another 5. All right? Don't worry to take pictures because we have big poster down there at the booth. All right? So we call it, okay, A, B, C, D, E. So again, you don't have any more excuse not to remember this. A is awareness, B is best practices, C is collaboration, diversify, and economy impact. E stands for economy impact. And everything that we do, if you can't do much, you just do awareness. You're in level 1 of sustainable tourism. Level 2, you yourself do the best practices, policy in your company, and trying your best to practice it. Then it becomes more challenging. The most challenging part eventually to get people to work with you, the collaboration. This is the reason why we test the champion in every group with academia. We have government agencies, we have private sectors, we have NGOs, as many different various, so then they can work together. Everybody have their own. They have to crack their head until late night yesterday just to get to be certified today. Okay. Then we go to another level where you can promote your idea, you innovate more and get people to actually buy in your ideas. And lastly, how can you make this economic impact? Without economic impact, this whole sustainable tourism or SDG will fail, right? So again, with all those 5, okay, I cannot summarize 160 mine, but we can make it simplified by having all this, another 5 in every elements, okay? And I will not read all this because, again, I said the poster are out there, okay? So we have 5 and 5 so that all can be done and you all can adopt this and hopefully you all together in the journey of sustainable tourism. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rohizam, for your enlightening presentations. May your leadership another round of applause to the champion himself. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you very much. Now, before we proceed to the plenary session, I would like to invite actually us for a group photo to commemorate this special occasion. Kindly remain seated while the photographer takes his position to capture this momentous sight from the stage. Now, put up your big smile.
Agenda of today will now appear on the screen, so you can scan it. Ms. Maulita Sarihani, a representative from UNTourism who will be sharing on destination stewardship of rural tourism in bringing peace.
Okay, good morning everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera for everyone. Let me greet the Honorable Ms. Manan, Dr. Jasmine, and Mr. Rohizam. My apology. Distinguished speakers, guests, and champions. So I am here today, would like to share some of our thoughts about the World Tourism theme on tourism and peace. So when we talk about peace, actually, what does it mean by peace? Why tourism can bring in peace? So in the next few minutes, I would like to share why this is important and what it is and how. As Ms. Manan said before, this is a time for us to implement, to act. So let's act together so we know what should we do. Can someone help me, please? Yes, I have some presentations. I'll wait for a while. Okay. Thank you. Okay, while waiting for my presentation, I guess I will need to improvise a little bit. So talking about destination stewardship of rural tourism in bringing peace is not something, it's not an old concept or model. We doing it every time. It exists every day. It exists in our villages. It exists in our rural destination. It's just, it's not a, how do you say, it's not disseminate well. The information is not for public to access. It's all keeping just in the village itself, in the rural destination. So now let's see together why we are here today, because we would like to understand why it's important, what needs to be done, and how needs to be done. Okay, when we see the definitions of destination stewardship, there are some keywords that we need to highlight this. So first is responsible management, sustainability, tourism development, cultural preservation, and environmental benefits. Okay, let's keep these 5 keywords and then we will go back afterward. And the second one, let's see the definitions of rural tourism. Okay, in here, we see that tourism development that offer experiences of natural activities or rural lifestyles, engaging both local community and tourists at the same times. So when we see these 2 definitions, what is come up in your mind? The 2 keywords that is connect between the destination stewardship and rural tourism is the community-driven and sustainable. Why? Because community play a vital role in planning, implementing, evaluating the tourism development, and then so all the activities that involve can be done sustainably, in sustainable way. And the most important thing is contribute to the sustainable development goals. Now, another question. What is it and how? Why it's so important? First, because it provides and offer job opportunities. When people have job opportunities, when local community has the access to establish their small enterprises, it reduces conflicts. Why? Because people, they receive incentive, they get benefits. So why do we need conflicts? Right? Makes sense. People, they are fighting for what? To get money, to eat. But when we have the job, when we have this opportunity, we can reduce and we can create harmony. Okay? The second one, when people visiting a destination and then they need to understand what culture that the local has. There is a communication between the villagers and the tourists. The tourists cannot do whatever they want to do. There will be custom do's and don'ts, which is mean there will be a mutual understanding. So they're breaking the wall between these cultural, let's say, issues. We don't speak the language. I don't speak Spanish, and then the tourist doesn't speak Malaysian, but how they can get this experience? Just by understanding, just by respecting the culture, just by giving and sharing this information, engaging both the local community and also the tourists at the same time. And the next one, the conflict that happens most of the time is not only between human and human. What exists in the world, especially in Southeast Asia, also conflict between wildlife and human. We are fighting. We are fighting over the natural resources. And then we need to understand that we live not only with the human being, there are another living being that live with us, which is the wildlife. We have a lot of issues of lodging. We have a lot of issues of bombing, marine ecosystem, coral reef. However, with this approach, we can protect the environment. At the same time, we protect the habitat of the wildlife, and then so they can survive at the same time and become the attraction of tourists. Agree? Agree? Thank you. And the other one, when the tourist is coming, the villages is becoming an ambassador. Why? Because the villages, they're trying to give an explanations about how important is their costume, how important, how valuable is their tradition, why you need to respect, and why, and why, and why. Because with this why, and then we will understand, and then we will follow what is the regulation in this village. When you're coming, for example, to a village, indigenous village in America, and then you are using bikini, for example, will they accept you? No, right? If I come to Malaysia with my bikini in the Malay society where you are mostly Muslims, you're not going to accept me, right? This is why tourism bringing harmony, understanding we respect the culture of Malay people. This is the way we dress, and this is the way we respect you coming to our place, and please follow our rules. This is bringing peace. Agree? Yes. And then so the diplomacy is not only going from the top level, but it is start from the local level. And now how are we going to do it? Engagement. When we say engage, we not only engage the local community itself, or not only hotel association. We see all the champions are coming from everywhere. The best of the best champions coming from university, from tour operator, from government. The same, engage local community, disabled people, young generation, minority group, women, elderly, everyone, different ethnic groups, different religions work together. And then so it brings peaceful. Agree? Yes? Oh, sorry, not yet. And it's too fast. And this one will create experiences. Why? Because we talk to each other. We built an agreement. What will we gonna do? Okay, in Chinese culture, for example, I have this ceremony that is very important for me. And then this can be one of the attraction when people come to my village. But on the other side, hey, I'm a Malay. We also have our traditional ceremony. How can we integrate and make it as a series of attractions? So instead of having the tourists just stay there for 1 or 2 hours, with this series of festival, we can make them stay for 1 week. Is it nice? Yeah, people will spend more money. Why? Because we are working together, collaborating, not only promoting our culture, but at the same time, we're promoting peace. We're working with different people together, integrating our culture. Preserving the environment at the same time. Why? Because when we have people coming, we would like people to behave responsibly. So provide things that is eco-friendly, for example, and ensure the economic viability, fair distribution of incentive, sharing benefits. Everyone needs to be involved. Homestays, crafts, guide, transportation, many more. There are many services that can be provided by the local. But the most important thing, again, back to the academia, back to the Minister of Education. Where is the program? Can you give the program to the local community? If you want the local community to engage, give us the education. Enhance our skills. And then so we can work together. We can be the ambassador, and then we can work with the hotels. Give us the guests, and then we will provide all the services. I will give some example of best tourism villages from Asia Pacific that we have in UNTourism. At the moment, we have more than 170 villages around the world. Unfortunately, we only have around 37 villages in Asia Pacific and only 1 from Malaysia. So we're looking forward to work with Malaysian government to have another best tourism village. We have one of our advisory board here, Professor Amran, that is supporting UNTourism, and we are very proud having him with us and working together, and hopefully with the program of UNDP, and then we can work also together because this is also promoting many SDG goals. So one of them is a village in Republic Korea or in South Korea called Dongbak villages, in which this village, they have a problem with depopulation. No young people, only 60 plus people living in the village. Can you imagine? What do? Without young people, they have no idea about technology. They have no idea about digitalization, nothing, zero. What do they have? They have only camellia. You know camellia is a special flower who only grow in Jeju Island. So what do? They ask the local government to initiate, let's go and have sustainable tourism because we need money, because our agricultural production is having a problem. We have no young people. We are too old. And then so they initiate the sustainable tourism development by having camellia as the attraction, because the only camellia colony is located in this village. And then so they work together with the local association. They develop trails so people can come and then do hiking, walking tour, guided tour, and it attracts the young people to come. And now the young people, they're coming and they make business. Why? Because the government, they give incentive. They have a policy where they give incentive to the young people to come back to the village, and then so they can make business. This is a big problem in South Korea. That's why they're starting with this. And another example is from Huangling village in China, in which they also have a fear of losing their cultural values. What should they do? They have many heritage building, rich of cultural dances and performances. But how do they sell? They don't speak English. Hello, we only speak Chinese. What can we do? Hello, help us. And then so what do? They work with two operators who can speak English. They provide the package. They create festivals. And they provide all the interpretation. They even have educational program for everyone who would like to learn the traditional dance and music. They speak Chinese, but with all this digital technology, these Chinese people, however, when you talk and then you have this translation straight away next to you. So the power of digitalization, we have the champion there. The next one, this one is from Batu Putih, Malaysia. Very good example about wildlife and human conflict. This has happened many years ago, in which that there are a lot of lodging happening in this area. So what do? They initiate to do reforestation. And then they are able to save the habitat. And the most amazing thing, the pygmy elephant, they're coming back. And it becomes one of the attractions there in Batu Putih. Within the cooperative that they establish, they give the incentive to the local community. They can even establish homestays, guided tour, and now they certificate the organic program. So everything over there is very responsibly managed. So this is one of the very good example in Malaysia. If you would like to learn, please come and visit this place. And the other one, this is a village in Japan, BA, which is, this is mentored by Professor Amran. This village is very famous for their agriculture. When you see, it's very colorful, very nice flowers and everything. So what do? They provide infrastructure, but eco-friendly infrastructure. People cannot bring cars. People cannot bring motorbike. You can only walk there. They provide shuttle, but electric shuttle. Interesting, right? And also, what do? They provide eco-friendly facilities. They don't build any new building. They just renovate and improve the local buildings, and they use it for tourism center, restaurants, hotel, and etc. So there is no high-rise building, nothing, no conflict of land use, because there's no need to build another new things. It is available there. What you need is just only improvement. Another one example of marketing, branding, brand your village. How? This is a village in Vietnam, Thai Hai, where they are promoting Thai culture, one family, one product. Meaning craft, homestay, ceremony, all the activities that they do there, it's within the harmony of their culture. They engage the local community in a cooking class, learning about the culture, learning about the agricultural system over there. And we have another example from Indonesia. Have you been to Bali? No? Yes? Okay. You need to go in December and visit this village. This is Penglipuran village, in which they have a one-gate system for the tourists. They have a problem of having over-tourism with the numbers. So what they do now, they have one-gate system in which only the tourists only come from one side, and then they go out from the other side. And they even make a regulation, certain number of visitors of tourists per hour, not even per day. Because too many people there, and then residents get annoyed and la 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 la. So what do? While the tourist is waiting for the queue, they provide traditional performances. They engage the community. To perform traditional music and dance. So while people waiting for the queue, they can doing the dancing. They can play music. They can watch. They can also enjoying the local food. So innovative product diversification. So no more conflict between the tourists and the visitors, because most of the time tourists were saying, I have a say, I pay, why I have to wait? But in the other way, you need to respect, this is our rules. You cannot come because the volume is already maximum, so you need to wait, and this is what we can do for you, enjoy the show. Right? Why not? And the last one, this is a Dordo village in India, where the villagers, they provide homestays, they improve the homestays. This is a traditional Indian's house. And then so working with the Ministry of Tourism, they provide high quality standards of facilities, and also they develop marketplace, and then so the local community can sell their products, handicrafts, and etc. Now, if you have a destination, a rural destination, and you would like to assess the performance of your destination, we develop a platform, what we call STAR. STAR stands for Self-Assessment Tool to Assist Rural Destinations. Please register and then fill up all the questions, share the data. Once you submit it, you will receive recommendations from us. And then you will work accordingly to the recommendation. There will be a lot of literature, a lot of best practices, many policies that we can share with you. This is for free. So you don't need to pay. Please visit, access, and utilize. And we also have free publication. Visit our e-library. Some of the publication on rural tourism, but of course we have hundreds of other publications as well if you're interested in other different topic. And the last one, I would like to invite you, sorry, too excited. I would like to invite you to our next event in December. We will have our first UNTourism Rural Conference in Vietnam on the 10th and 11th of December. So stay tuned on our social media for the details. Unfortunately, the second one is the second Best Tourism Village UNTourism meeting. It's a closed meeting, so it's not for everyone. It's closed for our members, which is now, we will announce the BTV recognition 24 in November. So we have around 200 villages around the world. But yes, please, if you looking forward to learn more about tourism, sustainable development, best practices, please join us in Vietnam on the 10th and 11th of December. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ms. Melita, for your insightful presentation on the importance of destination stewardship in rural tourism. Your emphasis on sustainability and community involvement has given us a deeper change and peace. Let's give Ms. Melita another round of applause.
Situ wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna.
The WTT, with the team TT, with the team tourism and sustainable TT, with the team tourism and sustainable transformation from Georgia to my homeland Malaysia. Thank you to the member of the state and United Tourism for giving us the opportunity. Hosting WTT 2025 is important for Malaysia as we are committed to sustainable practice, eco-friendly infrastructure, responsible travel and community-based tourism, which balance economic growth with the environment and social responsibility. Therefore, we have chosen Malacca as a UNESCO World Heritage City as a venue for this celebration. Malacca is rich in culture and history. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you, including the 160 members, State of Tourism Minister and the UN Tourism Secretary General, to join us in Malacca to celebrate and experience our warm hospitality while exploring the new frontier in sustainable tourism in 2025. Thank you and selamat datang ke Malaysia. Thank you very much.
Outside. We will also reconvene at 11 a.m. to start our panel session at your respective breakout rooms. Thank you.
Situ Wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia, actually in Situ.
The uniqueness of Situ Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature.
What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also Majlis Daerah to support the product that we have. From our boardwalk, we prolong it to our community. The visitors, the audience can get local products from Situ Wetland so that the community can give back and also get back on nature products.
Kita ada dekat Pulau Busung. Sebenarnya kat Pulau Busung ni, ini adalah checkpoint untuk cari lokan. Dekat sini dia ada 2 spesies lokan. Normally kita ada lokan lumpur dan juga longkang pasir. Actually this package I have 3 element. For the 1 element is education. So education for the mangrove, education for the flora and fauna. Second is element is fun. So and then the third element is historical.
One of our main or our aim is to help the local community here to highlight their traditional knowledge and also empower them to do education tourism. So we train them to be a wetland teacher where they teach people that come, the visitors that come to the Situ Wetland, not only about the nature in Situ Wetland but also the part on heritage, the part on livelihood of the people here.
Okay, so this is the filling of the satay. We have fish, then onion, garlic, this is asam.
In a lot of places in Malaysia, in other worlds, the local community just be the people that see the development of tourism, but they do not get anything from the industry. So we emphasize that local community should be benefit from the tourism.
Whatever UNDP and doing it right now, I think it's a good effort. It's a good platform with the communities, NGOs, government agency to sustain not only tourism, ecotourism, but nature itself.
Laka di dalam projek pelancongan lestari di bawah UNDP ni bukan sekadar menyediakan kertas kerja atau laporan di peringkat awalan dan juga interim, tetapi mereka juga adalah sebagai koordinator yang mengurus dan memastikan projek ini berada di landasan yang betul supaya target-target kita tercapai, KPI kita ditepati. Jadi dengan adanya projek ni, kita dah ada produk kita sendiri dan juga kita ada pertambahan jumlah pengusaha dalam suatu penghasilan kraft dan juga melibatkan kaum wanita.
Dari segi pengeluaran produk, kalau nak compare daripada dulu, of course saya buat seorang sangat limited, tak dapat hasilkan dengan banyak. Tapi dengan sokongan daripada UNDP, saya dapat membuka peluang pekerjaan kepada golongan-golongan yang memerlukan seperti wanita ataupun anak-anak muda untuk turut membantu dari segi penghasilan. Jadi of course saya dapat hasilkan dengan lebih banyak dan juga dengan lebih berkualiti.
Kemahiran baru yang saya dapat selepas bersama dengan Rumah Batik adalah dapat peralatan-alatan yang lebih banyak, lebih baik. Jadi saya daripada hasilkan produk yang home base, saya boleh explore untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih banyak. Di samping explore bahan-bahan yang lebih baru, penggunaan daun yang berbeza, warna-warna yang lebih banyak lah untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih baik.
Batik alternatif ini, dia tidak menggunakan chemical yang akan merosakkan alam sekitar. Jadi dia adalah penghasilan yang zero waste, sifar pembaziran dan juga sifar penggunaan chemical. So dia akan menyumbang kepada kelestarian alam sekitar.
Saya tak terbayang yang saya satu hari boleh jadi artisan dan boleh menghasilkan produk-produk sebegini. Dan antara pencapaian saya bersama Rumah Batik baru-baru ini telah memenangi award sebagai seorang suri rumah. Saya tak sangka melalui Rumah Batik saya dapat go to a greater length dan dapat exposure sebeginilah.
Visi kami sedikit sebanyak telah dibantu oleh projek ini yang merupakan asas atau foundation yang mana membantu kami untuk menyediakan fasiliti ini secara fizikal dan juga digital dengan lebih teratur supaya memberi peluang dan ruang kepada pengusaha yang ada dan juga pengusaha yang lain supaya mereka dapat sustain di masa yang akan datang.
Saya perkenalkan diri saya dulu. Nama saya Ahmad Firdaus bin Syed Omar. Saya merupakan setiausaha kepada Mersing Tourism Association dan saya ingin memperkenalkan Mersing kepada anda semua. Tourism benefits to the local more than the foreigner. Bahasa Melayunya, pelancongan ni memberikan pulangan yang baik kepada lokaliti berbanding dengan orang-orang asing yang datang. Sepatutnya komuniti menjadi sumber utama daripada segi perkhidmatan untuk memastikan pelancongan menjadi sumber pendapatan. Dan saya rasa bertepatan dengan apa yang UNDP cuba bawa.
Bila saya cuba kerja dekat petrol pump tu, saya punya confident tu agak kurang lah. Sebab orang macam pandangan nak, oh budak macam ni kerja macam ni je lah. Tapi Encik Firdaus boleh nampak kebolehan saya. Jadi di situ saya rasa macam, oh sebenarnya orang yang ada kat OKU ni pun boleh kerja macam orang-orang normal. Boleh diberi peluang untuk kerja dalam bidang-bidang yang mengenai tourism apa semua ni. Untuk permulaan ni, saya bermula sebagai graphic designer dan content creator lah. Saya buat design-design baju, saya akan buat design-design untuk kitchen, dan juga kalau kita ada pergi event, mungkin saya akan buat design untuk backdrop event tersebut.
Saya melihat ada sikit keceriaan kepada penduduk. Kalau dahulu mereka hanya dapat satu hari upah RM4 sahaja untuk memasak dari ejen pelancongan, tetapi sekarang mereka dah jadi pemilik kepada syarikat aktiviti selam scuba. Mereka sendiri yang bawa pelancong untuk menyelam. Jadi daerah Mersing ni diurus sendiri oleh anak-anak Mersing sendiri.
Antara sebab utama saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi perniagaan saya adalah kerana saya nampak Mersing ni mempunyai potensi dalam bidang pelancongan. Kerana apa? Mersing ni mempunyai banyak pulau-pulau yang cantik yang sangat berdekatan dengan Mersing, di antaranya Pulau Besar, Pulau Tioman dan Pulau Au. Selepas saya dapat sokongan padu daripada Mersing Tourism Association sendiri dan juga pihak UNDP sendiri, alhamdulillah saya pada latihan dan juga sokongan padu tu saya dapat kenaikan gaji antaranya RM5,000 sehingga ke RM8,000.
Perkara ini dikawal melalui mitos. Jadi setiap ejen perlu memasukkan data. Jadi dari segi pengkalan data, jumlah pelancong yang datang ke Mersing pun kami boleh dapat statistik dari negara mana. Kemudian dari segi perancangan masa hadapan pun kami boleh buat dengan jumlah statistik yang ada. Kita dari pihak kerajaan bersama dengan pihak UNDP, kita akan bagikan apa kemahiran. Contohnya kita dah bagi mereka kemahiran bahasa Inggeris. Kita dah bagi mereka latihan yang berkaitan dengan kaedah snorkeling supaya tidak merosakkan kita punya terumbu karang.
Dia punya impact selepas latihan ni sangat memberi kesan yang sangat bagus dan hebat pada saya, sebab saya boleh berkomunikasi secara baik dengan pengunjung di dalam negara dan juga di luar negara dengan confident.
Kutip sampah mudah, simpan itu lebih mudah. Tetapi cabarannya ialah apakah mesin yang kita nak gunakan supaya kita dapat recycle kembali. Daripada plastik boleh menjadi souvenir dan cenderamata. Daripada cenderamata boleh dibawa pulang, boleh dikongsikan. Rasa rindu, rasa kasih, rasa ingatan kepada seluruh keluarga yang sedang menanti di rumah.
Daerah Mersing sebenarnya fokus kepada daerah pelancongan, yang mana kita terlibat secara langsung dengan adanya pulau-pulau sebanyak lebih kurang dalam 95 pulau dan juga batuan dalam daerah Mersing. Kepentingan sustainable project ni yang utamanya sebenarnya kita nak mengketengahkan produk-produk pelancongan dalam daerah Mersing ni, termasuklah kalau ada pelancongan-pelancongan baru, dan juga kita nak lebih tonjolkan daripada segi operator-operator yang terlibat, termasuk juga peninggi-peninggi tempatan supaya mereka ni boleh lebih berkembang dan orang tahu kewujudan sebenar produk-produk pelancongan dalam daerah Mersing.
Our mission is to protect and conserve biodiversity in the Mersing Island.
Waste management for solid waste, wastewater, and also about community development and sustainable tourism lah.
Harapan saya untuk pulau ni agar sektor pelancongan membiak berkembang dan maju di samping mengekalkan ekosistem yang ada.
Di mana di Stew kita mempunyai pantai yang panjang, bukit bukau yang menawan serta air terjun yang sangat unik di Stew. Selain daripada itu, Stew juga mempunyai satu khazanah iaitu Stew Wetland. Kami ada pelbagai usaha yang kami nak buat. Keduanya latihan kepada player-player.
Berkenaan dengan projek yang kita buat kerjasama dengan
UNDP ni, kita lebih fokuskan kepada island-island atau pulau yang ada di negeri Terengganu yang meliputi Pulau Redang, Pulau Perhentian dan juga Pulau Kapas.
Dia sekarang terbagi pada 3.
Yang di Pulau Perhentian.
Yang di Pulau Perhentian, satu untuk bangunan rumah sampah ni dan juga bangunan composting machine, dan yang kedua kita ada program awareness untuk program kita semula dan juga composting punya prosedur and all. Bekalan tong sampah.
Sebab kalau dari segi pelancongan ya, kita memang melihat bahawa kawasan yang mempunyai banyak impak negatif itu adalah kawasan yang pelancongannya agak dense lah. Another pollution is daripada wastewater. Wastewater will still go into the sea.
Manjung bandar pelancongan dan maritim sebenarnya. Jadi bandar pelancongan ini sinonim dengan Manjung, dan kalau di negeri Perak ini daripada 12 daerah yang ada di negeri Perak, memang kita adalah salah sebuah daerah yang memang terkenal dengan produk-produk pelancongannya. Kami di Majlis Perbandaran Manjung merasa sangat teruja dan bersyukur kerana menjadi salah satu daerah ataupun lokasi yang terpilih di bawah program UNDP ini. Kami melihat bahawa seharusnya komuniti ataupun industri player pelancongan di daerah Manjung sewajarnya mendapat manfaat terbaik daripada program yang kita bangunkan bersama ini, dan kita ingin melihat bahawa ia bukan hanya sekadar di kalangan pemain industri ataupun yang sedia ada, tetapi juga mungkin kita akan dapat melihat pemain-pemain baru yang akan dapat mewarnai arena pelancongan di daerah Manjung.
Situ wetland, they have a lot flora and fauna. We have a 10 ecosystem, one only in Malaysia.
Excellency and distinguished guests, it is my great privilege and honor to receive the mandate on behalf of Malaysia to host the next UN Tourism World Tourism Day (WTD) with the theme Tourism and Sustainable Transformation from Georgia to my homeland Malaysia. Thank you to the member of the state and United Tourism for giving us the opportunity. Hosting WTD 2025 is important for Malaysia as we are committed to sustainable practice, eco-friendly infrastructure, responsible travel and community-based tourism which balance economic growth with the environment and social responsibility. Therefore, we have chosen Malacca as a UNESCO World Heritage City as a venue for this celebration. Malacca is rich in culture and history. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you, including the 160 members, State of Tourism Minister and the UN Tourism Secretary General, to join us in Malacca to celebrate and experience our warm hospitality while exploring the new frontier in sustainable tourism in 2025. Thank you and selamat datang ke Malaysia. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Uchok. So I'm the worker in Janda Baik Goat Farm. So Janda Baik Goat Farm is located in Kampung Janda Baik, Pahang. So what we do here, we sell goat milk. So our goat milk is good for those who are lactose intolerant. We have around 250 goats here. So here we can show you how you can raise a goat. We can show you how to milk the goat, and then we can feed the goats here.
They keep it like this to they mix the soya bean with yeast until it grow, turn to this white color, and then after that we can just cut it and fry and then eat with rice and sambal. That's all the process. So they produce two types of tempeh. One is for this one for snack, and this one is for the meal side dishes. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa from the Lemuni Janda Baik, Malaysia. Lemuni is actually a herbs from the north Malaysia, and over here there is 6 acres. We have about 7 building from the Rumah Kayu. Rumah Kayu is actually wood house from the Terengganu. We bring it here, and it's also a cafe where we serve a traditional Malay food, and we practice a sustainability. That means we use a solar for the lights. We plant our fruits, our vegetables, and also in terms of water, we also drill our own water supply.
The uniqueness of City Wetland State Park is that we are close with community. The only state park that receive visitors to enjoy the nature.
What we are doing right now, the sustainable tourism, we are working closely with district office and also Majlis Daerah to support the product that we have. From our boardwalk, we prolong it to our community. The visitors, the audience can get local products from City Wetland, so that the community can give back and also get back on nature products.
Kita ada dekat Pulau Busung. Sebenarnya kat Pulau Busung ni, ini adalah checkpoint untuk cari lokan. Dekat sini dia ada 2 spesies lokan. Normally kita ada lokan lumpur dan juga longkang pasir. Actually this package I have 3 element. For the 1 element is education. So education for the mangrove, education for the flora and fauna. Second is element is fun. So and then the third element is historical.
One of our main or our aim is to help the local community here to highlight their traditional knowledge and also empower them to do education tourism. So we train them to be a wetland teacher where they teach people that come, the visitors that come to the City Wetland, not only about the nature in City Wetland but also the part on heritage, the part on livelihood of the people here.
Okay, so this is the filling of the sata. We have fish, and then onion, garlic, this is asam.
In a lot of places in Malaysia, in other worlds, the local community just be the people that see the development of tourism, but they do not get anything from the industry. So we emphasize that local community should be benefit from the tourism.
Whatever UNDP and doing it right now, I think it's a good effort. It's a good platform with the communities, NGOs, government agency to sustain not only tourism, ecotourism, but nature itself.
Kelakar di dalam projek pelancongan lestari di bawah UNDP ni bukan sekadar menyediakan kertas kerja atau laporan di peringkat awalan dan juga interim, tetapi mereka juga adalah sebagai koordinator yang mengurus dan memastikan projek ini berada di landasan yang betul supaya target-target kita tercapai, KPI kita ditepati. Jadi dengan adanya projek ni, kita dah ada produk kita sendiri dan juga kita ada pertambahan jumlah pengusaha dalam suatu penghasilan kraft dan juga melibatkan kaum wanita.
Dari segi pengeluaran produk, kalau nak compare daripada dulu, of course saya buat seorang sangat limited, tak dapat hasilkan dengan banyak. Tapi dengan sokongan daripada UNDP, saya dapat membuka peluang pekerjaan kepada golongan-golongan yang memerlukan seperti wanita ataupun anak-anak muda untuk turut membantu dari segi penghasilan. Jadi of course saya dapat hasilkan dengan lebih banyak dan juga dengan lebih berkualiti.
Kemahiran baru yang saya dapat selepas bersama dengan Rumah Batik adalah dapat peralatan-alatan yang lebih banyak, lebih baik. Jadi saya daripada hasilkan produk yang home base, saya dah boleh explore untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih banyak. Di samping explore bahan-bahan yang lebih baru, penggunaan daun yang berbeza, warna-warna yang lebih banyak lah untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih baik.
Batik alternatif ini, dia tidak menggunakan chemical yang akan merosakkan alam sekitar. Jadi dia adalah penghasilan yang zero waste, sifar pembaziran dan juga sifar penggunaan chemical. So dia akan menyumbang kepada kelestarian alam sekitar.
Saya tak terbayang yang saya satu hari boleh jadi artisan dan boleh menghasilkan produk-produk sebegini, dan antara pencapaian saya bersama Rumah Batik baru-baru ni telah memenangi award sebagai seorang suri rumah. Saya tak sangka melalui Rumah Batik saya dapat go to a greater length dan dapat exposure sebeginilah.
Visi kami sedikit sebanyak telah dibantu oleh projek ini yang merupakan asas atau foundation yang mana membantu kami untuk menyediakan fasiliti ini secara fizikal dan juga digital dengan lebih teratur supaya memberi peluang dan ruang kepada pengusaha yang ada dan juga pengusaha yang lain supaya mereka dapat sustain di masa yang akan datang.
Saya perkenalkan diri saya dulu. Nama saya Ahmad Firdaus bin Syed Omar. Saya merupakan setiausaha kepada Mersing Tourism Association dan saya ingin memperkenalkan Mersing kepada anda semua. Tourism benefits to the local more than the foreigner. Bahasa Melayunya, pelancongan ni memberikan pulangan yang baik kepada lokaliti berbanding dengan orang-orang asing yang datang. Sepatutnya komuniti menjadi sumber utama daripada segi perkhidmatan untuk memastikan pelancongan menjadi sumber pendapatan, dan saya rasa bertepatan dengan apa yang UNDP cuba bawa.
Bila saya cuba kerja dekat petrol pump tu, saya punya confident tu agak kurang lah, sebab orang macam pandangan dah, oh budak macam ni kerja macam ni je lah. Tapi Encik Firdaus boleh nampak kebolehan saya. Jadi di situ saya rasa macam, oh sebenarnya orang yang ada kat OKU ni pun boleh kerja macam orang-orang normal, boleh diberi peluang untuk kerja dalam bidang-bidang yang mengenai tourism apa semua ni. Untuk permulaan ni, saya bermula sebagai graphic designer dan content creator lah. Saya buat design-design baju, saya akan buat design-design untuk kitchen, dan juga kalau kita ada pergi event, mungkin saya akan buat design untuk backdrop event tersebut.
Saya melihat ada sikit keceriaan kepada penduduk. Kalau dahulu mereka hanya dapat satu hari upah RM4 sahaja untuk memasak dari ejen pelancongan, tetapi sekarang mereka dah jadi pemilik kepada syarikat aktiviti selam scuba. Mereka sendiri yang bawa pelancong untuk menyelam. Jadi daerah Mersing ni diurus sendiri oleh anak-anak Mersing sendiri.
Antara sebab utama saya pilih Mersing sebagai lokasi perniagaan saya adalah kerana saya nampak Mersing ni mempunyai potensi dalam bidang pelancongan. Kerana apa? Mersing ni mempunyai banyak pulau-pulau yang cantik yang sangat berdekatan dengan Mersing, di antaranya Pulau Besar, Pulau Tioman dan Pulau Au. Selepas saya dapat sokongan padu daripada Mersing Tourism Association sendiri dan juga pihak UNDP sendiri, alhamdulillah hasil pada latihan dan juga sokongan padu tu saya dapat kenaikan gaji antaranya RM5,000 sehingga ke RM8,000.
Perkara ini dikawal melalui mitos. Jadi setiap ejen perlu memasukkan data. Jadi dari segi pengkalan data, jumlah pelancong yang datang ke Mersing pun kami boleh dapat statistik dari negara mana. Kemudian dari segi perancangan masa hadapan pun kami boleh buat dengan jumlah statistik yang ada. Kita dari pihak kerajaan bersama dengan pihak UNDP, kita akan bagikan apa kemahiran. Contohnya kita dah bagi mereka kemahiran bahasa Inggeris. Kita dah bagi mereka latihan yang berkaitan dengan kaedah snorkeling supaya tidak merosakkan kita punya terumbu karang.
Dia punya impact selepas latihan ni sangat memberi kesan yang sangat bagus dan hebat pada saya sebab saya boleh berkomunikasi secara baik dengan pengunjung di dalam negara dan juga di luar negara dengan confident.
Kutip sampah mudah, simpan itu lebih mudah. Tetapi cabarannya ialah apakah mesin yang kita nak gunakan supaya kita dapat recycle kembali. Daripada plastik boleh menjadi souvenir dan cenderamata. Daripada cenderamata boleh dibawa pulang, boleh dikongsikan. Rasa rindu, rasa kasih, rasa ingatan kepada seluruh keluarga yang sedang menanti di rumah.
My name is Hana Halim. I am the president for Association of Malaysian Spa, and we are one of the members of the working group at MPC. Well, when you talk about sustainability within the spa industry, it's quite a lot because number one, in a spa, we have one of the eternal product which is called wellness. It is a lifelong product or aim for everyone, right? Everybody wants to stay healthy, everybody wants to live longer. So we are selling something that's already sustainable, that must be made sustainable and achievable by everyone. But when you talk about sustainability within the spa context, we're talking about the environment that we're in. We're talking about the community that we are involving inside the spa. So when you talk about environment, we try to reduce like usage of linen, and the products that we use we try to go for natural. The spa location itself, we try to involve as much as nature as possible. And combining those two elements, we create a holistic premise to offer our wellness services in a spa setting. In terms of community, we try to do sustainability within the community by making sure that the younger generation are actually learning the arts of traditions from the older generation so that this can be passed on from time to time. So we want to make sure that the wisdom from our old folks, gets handed down in terms of health and wellness, so that it can benefit the next generation to come.
City Wetland, they have a
Makcik lahir di sini ni, umur sini. Sini. 10 bulan 8, 48. Makcik kahwin umur 17. Muda. Kami orang susah, pok saya tukang amor. Masuk hutan, gaji kayu lah, buat amor. Lepas tu orang suruh cari kayu, kami cari. Makcik ikut Ikut masuk hutan. Gaji kayu, tolong. apa saja buat. Kerja kampung. Gotong, tanam halia, tanam padi. Tanah lah. Dah kami lahir sini, besar sini, kahwin sini, anak semua ada sini. Tanah lah. Pacak tak takut makcik. Memang pacak banyak. Pindah dalam hutan. Arwah pakcik selalu pergi. Daripada kecil ni kau. Dan lerek. Buat pinggan. Pinggan buat lemang. Buat lemang. Makcik dah ingat lagi lah. Tu dalam makcik, time apa makcik 6 tahun ke berapa tahun. Merdeka tu. Merdeka mula-mula tu. Dia pun buat kena raya kan dia pun lembu. Kami pergi ke Kelantan, orang kampung pergi. Dia ingat lah lagi. Jalan kat ni lah tu buah. Macam ni ya? Sejam lebih. Pergi jalan kaki.
Kita kaki bukit dulu lah, kira 1970 tahun lebih kurang semua pun buat timah 90%. Nah, pasal itu macam dia timah harga cantik. Nah, 1 kilo boleh 8 kilo. Rumah saya sini kaki bukit ya. Saya memang anak kaki bukit. Saya sekarang kerja yang berat. Lagi saya buat apa? Itu hiking punya, itu laluan banyak. Banyak lah kuah saya pun banyak. Kuah pun dekat 10. Kalau saya tak minat, saya tak boleh jalan sampai hari ini. Kalau saya tak minat, panggil masuk kuah saya pun mau. Betul ya? You minat, you baru satu orang you pun mau. Saya putar sudah ikut papa mah. You tahu lah, saya umur 5-6 lah papa. Pergi buat ini timah kan. Sama mama saya pun ada ikut. Selalu sudah sampai itu bukit, dia orang buat timah kan. 1 minggu itu makan habis. Saya ikut papa turun, beli makan, naik lagi. Saya pun betul-betul minatnya. Senang tahu ya kalau dia orang kena korek kan, dia mesti warna tanahnya. Dia tak. Bukan susah, bahaya. Dia senang mati. Pasal dia orang pakai tangan, dia orang macam mana tahu. Dalam sini boleh sambung, sana ada timah. Saya ini saya yang kira yang paling kuat mengenal. Saya pun tak tahu dia orang kenapa boleh tahu. Ini sebesar. Ini you yang senang tak? Bukit besar, you mana boleh tahu sana ada timah? Dah, ini bukan senang.
Ni gua ni memang ada pernah jumpa kambing kan? Dulu lah.
Tapi saya mungkin ada lah. Dulu saya mesti ada ni. Selalu mari dia dekat.
Oh, sini cantik kau kata. Tahu tak apa? Dia suka jilat ni batu ah. Garam.
Oh, ada garam.
Jilat tak? Ada garam.
Tak tahu.
Tak lihat tak.
Ini lagi main. Itu ada sudah kena itu buah.
Buah mana tu? Boleh makan tak? Makan? Boleh makan. Tapi tak tahu apa jadi.
Nah. Dia pakai kaki.
Dia tapak dia.
Nampak?
Besar sangat tu.
Ini tua yang kambing.
Tak besar sangat. Okey ya, boleh lah. Dia sebenarnya masuk hutan masa kecil. Masa tu ada satu trail. Trail ni orang kampung guna untuk bawa kambing. Saya cukup suka trail, cantik. Kadang-kadang pergi seorang-seorang tanpa pengetahuan siapa-siapa kan. Kita curious nak tengok apa yang ada dalam hutan tu. Tapi bila dah dewasa ni, curious dia lebih kepada nak tahu apa yang uniknya dalam hutan. Bila Mai 2015, that time terdetik di hati kata nak, kalau boleh kita share kecantikan ni kepada lokal, bagi lokal tahu. Aku set up page tu dekat Police Nature and Wildlife tu untuk educate lokal, bagi lokal faham macam mana kita tengok sebagai lokal, kita nak lokal tengok macam mana kita tengok juga. Bila kita buat research sikit, kita tahu Wang Kelian ni ada spesies primat yang unik, buruk kentai yang tak ada tempat lain. The only place in Malaysia that kita boleh jumpa buruk kentai hanya di Perlis dan di Wang Kelian, primat kita sendiri. Tapi bila kita cari maklumat, tak banyak yang ada. So that's why kita post pasal kentai and then dapat perhatian ramai. Tapi salah seorang dia Ayub. Ayub ni lokal Wang Kelian lah. Kita pun tak kenal dia siapa. Dia kata, Min, saya tahu kat mana buruk kentai. Masuk habis dalam kampung, dia tunjuk habis kampung-kampung Wang Kelian tu. Apa yang ada, rupanya cantik sebenarnya. Kita dah ingat macam, kita ikut main road dan kita tak nampak apa di sebalik hutan tu. Bila masuk, kita tengok, memang macam-macam ada. Mula dari situ hubungan jadi baik. Dia duk report selalu, oh ada kentai kat mana-mana. Sampai jadi kawan rapat, bawa balik rumah, kami kenal dengan Mak Milah lah. Dulu masa Ayub masih ada, dia ada bagi tahu tentang buyung. Kata mak dia jumpa buyung dekat gua. Tapi bila dah dia tak ada, saya pergi tanya Amzah lah. Amzah kata ada, Amzah tunjuk buyung lah. Comel je, besar ni lah. Dia kata Mak Milah jumpa dalam gua. Bila tanya gua kat mana, dia cuma kata gua kat belakang ni. Tapi dia dengan Ayub tak pernah sampai gua tu. Mak tak pernah bawa dia. Bawa ni saja pergi melawat museum. Kebetulan terpandang satu buyung yang macam lebih kurang macam Hamzah tunjuk dulu. Yang Mak Milah punya. So macam, teringat balik lah nak cari kan. So that's why pergi cari Mak Milah. Minta izin dia lah untuk kita tahu kawasan tu.
Tahu telefon tak ada. Tahu dalam umur ni.
60 kan?
50 tahun. No.
Lebih kurang.
Yang jumpa kan. Mak tu mak muda. Mak anak tu 19 mak
muda lagi. Pergi gua tu nak cari baja.
Baja sana sikit ni jadi farmer kat ni.
Ada
bukan farmer pun jadi menjadi gua lah ni. Jadi gini ya.
Faham. Dia jadi macam rock shelter, tempat macam tempat perlindungan tau. Dia
macam itulah.
Dia berteduh pada hujan, berteduh pada binatang buas.
Ni pun heran.
Dia akan duduk depan tu lah.
Oh, memang.
Siapa yang duduk situ dulu?
Dia kulit siput banyak tu, siapa yang makan?
Betul lah.
Kami pun dah heran dulu. Tapi heran macam tu lah kan.
Ya.
Siapa mah dulu ni? Duduk di gua ni.
Dia tunjuk tempat. Jalan masuk.
Jadi kah?
Sustainable communication and digitalization for tourism.
Huh? People are going to come up and talk, right? Yeah.
I want you to be
Join me together on the stage, Datuk Wei Chuang Bing, Chairman, Digital Way Group and Champion, Digital Productivity Nexus, Prof. Dr. Ahmad Zaki, Dean, Institute of Technology Management and Entrepreneurship, University Technical Malaysia, Melaka, and also Mr. Muhammad Yunus, CEO and founder of UNICEF YS Sdn Bhd, and also the Vice President Innovation of Malaysian Association of Convention and Exhibition and Supplier Messieurs. Okay, please give them applause. Okay, as you are well aware, the communication and digitalization is a very important topic, as well as not only for tourism but business as a whole. So communication and digitalization are essential for advancing in this regard sustainable tourism, especially as tourists increasingly seek eco-friendly and socially responsible options, especially post-COVID-19. Effective communication strategies that transparently convey a destination commitment to sustainability can build trust with consumers and engage and also encourage them to choose responsible travel experiences. By sharing stories of local culture, for instance, environmental initiative and community engagement, tourism businesses can inspire tourists to make an informed decision that support sustainable practices on the ground. Hence, we think that digital platform can play a vital role in amplifying these messages, allowing stakeholders to reach broader audiences and highlight local experience that align with sustainability principle. So this session aims to uncover the keys to captivating tourists with sustainability approaches and harnessing its transformative potential, how to intertwine a sustainable vision with business and communication strategies in order to pinpoint the most effective avenues and method for integrating sustainability into marketing and digital individuals. Okay, so that is basically the context of this session. And for this session, how we are going to conduct is that we will be inviting you to actually speak based on the questions that we are going to ask. So allow me to introduce you to our first speaker, which is Dato' Wei Chuang Bing. So Dato' Wei Chuang Bing served as the co-chairman of the Malaysian-China Digital Cooperation Council, in which he facilitates digital collaboration between Malaysia and China. He has been a member of the Young Presidents Organization, YPO, since 2005 and is currently serving as the Vice Chair of the China Business Network. Dato' Wei also holds position as an investment board member of the Social Security Organization, PERCASO, and has championed the Digital Productivity Nexus, TPN, under the Malaysian Productivity Corporation since 2020, so since beginning of COVID. Right, and he's also additionally is an adjunct professor of University Technology Malaysia, UTM. In the private sector, Dato' Wei founded Digital Way Group Sdn Bhd and Comcom International Sdn Bhd to create international business opportunities in Malaysia. He is also the co-founder and chairman of the OT Sdn Bhd, a social enterprise focused on igniting and developing human competencies in the digital era. Give him applause. Okay, so we have one renowned speaker, and the next speaker is very famous as well in the academic area as well as in the industry. So I would like to introduce you to Prof. Ahmad Zaki. So he is the Dean in UTM, and Prof. Zaki has been involved in information and communication technology, ICT, for more than 47 years. He started his academic career in 1977 as assistant lecturer at University Technology Malaysia, UTM, and was finally promoted as a full professor in 2000. He is the president of the Malaysian National Computer Confederation, an EXCO member of the Southeast Asia Regional Confederation since June 2012. And he sits in many national and international committees, including the Digital Productivity Nexus and Tourism Productivity Nexus under Malaysian Productivity Corporation. So currently, Prof. Zaki is a professor and dean at the Institute of Technology Management and Entrepreneurship, University Technical Malaysia, Melaka. So his research interest is in communication, informatics, and digitalization. So maybe that is something that you might have to explain to all of us. What does it mean and how you have been doing in the area of your work. And last but not least, I would like to introduce you to the third speaker, which is Mr. Muhammad Yusno Yunus. So Mr. Yusno began his career in the United States as a web development of Carnegie Mellon University before returning to Malaysia to work with Tenaga Nasional Berhad. At TNB, he was involved extensively in solutions development and project management, where he played a key role in development of the corporation's CRM system, mobile field force automation, and GIS. He then moved on to another consulting firm where he was a software architect who produced a variety of online branding and marketing solutions. So Mr. Yusno holds a bachelor degree in information system and a master's degree in management information system from Carnegie Mellon University, USA. So give them a round of applause. Okay, so my first round of questions, when we talk about digitalization, when we talk about productivity, since you are also the chairman for Digital Productivity Nexus, can you share a little bit how well does Malaysian tourism industry understand the digital preference of sustainable conscious tourists, and how ready are Malaysian stakeholders to adopt sustainable practices through digital platforms? So maybe Dato', you can share with us your insights on this first.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the very kind introduction. Co-panelists, especially very learned speakers, so far from that. Talking about this productivity in the sector of the tourism sector, as well as looking at how to address sustainability conscious tourism. Big words. I think first of all, I just want to have some statistics to kind of give us some perspective. I understand that Malaysia would probably have about 30 million visitors this year in total. Last year we had like 20 million. So this year we expect to see a very marked increase in this. And many of those visitors come here for various reasons. And of course, we tend to kind of focus a lot on the leisure kind of tourists. That's one target group. The MICE is another big area, the meeting and receptive participation. And I find that for this year particularly, as I'm kind of receiving a lot of visitors on a monthly basis, the investment and the trade seeking investors or visitors have increased so many-fold compared to last year. And they come from North Asia, a lot from North Asia, and also Middle East. There are increasingly more as well. The reason is also because there is this very active reconfiguration of the supply chain around the world. So as such, there's a big push towards relocating, defining the supplies that the various industries could get. So as a result of that, the arrival of tourists actually affects a lot on all the stakeholders as well as the environment. I think first of all, you see, to handle the kind of vast increase of the volume, the stakeholders understand there's a need to go digital. There's a gap in terms of how ready are the stakeholders. Some would have gone very, very far. I think the case of Malaysia is unique in the sense that there are a lot of traditional players that are not as prepared yet, but then the consciousness is there. So therefore, in the digital productivity nexus, since COVID, we have been putting this program across, that is to go big with digital. That is to call upon the leaders of the various stakeholder organizations to take the lead. Why go big with digital? Big has 3 letters. B-I-G. B, it stands for breakthrough. That means if you handle, say, 100 so-called transaction or reservation or check-in a day, how do you handle 300, assuming you have the capacity? Does it mean you have to increase 3 times headcount? Or you think of a way to break through in terms of the efficiency? So hence digital is one of them. The second one is this: when there is this larger volume, you find that the service delivery and also the supply chain become inconsistent. Why? It is because they just couldn't keep up with that volume. Right? So now digitalization across the supply chain. In fact, food chain is one of them. All the F&Bs really require a lot of different supplies. All the hospitality outlets require a lot of supplies. All the retails require a lot of supplies. So hence, from that, integrity in terms of keeping up to be consistent, give consistent level of service, digital implementation is the one that provides a very clear answer. Lastly, back to sustainability, the last word is G, out of big, right? G here is a force of good. Why? Using digital, we literally, just from one aspect, reduce so much of the waste. Can you imagine? I also read that last year in 2023, there were around 1.3 billion visitors around the world, while Malaysia had 20 million. 1.3 billion, just talk about the entry custom form. Can you imagine we have to consume 1.3 billion pieces of the paper? That is actually huge damage to the supply of the paper alone. So with the sheer volume, with digitalization, it ease off the wastage, ease off a lot of so-called extra, also like wastage, like transportation arrangement becomes efficient. Yeah, so therefore, sustainability, you could not separate from digitalization. I'm going to just leave you with that.
Thank you, Dr. Wee. Very insightful. I think we actually have few key takeaways just from that question and also that feedback alone. But I wanted to actually move to Prof. Prof, just now, Dato actually mentioned regarding the gaps in regards to digital readiness. It varies. In the productivity, digital productivity nexus, you actually note that there's actually different between the big players and also the small players, especially in regards to that. So my question to you would be that, how can we actually enhance and also utilize this, this gap and accelerate, especially for the rural business owners? How can digital tools and platform be leveraged to enhance engagement with tourists regarding sustainability initiative? And what specific strategies have proven most effective in your 47 years of experience?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and also salam sayangi Malaysia. Thank you, Fiza, and also my esteemed panelists, Datuk Wei, so our digital productivity champion, and also my fellow in the digital working group. Okay. So when you introduced me, you mentioned one of my research area is actually community informatics. Yeah. Okay. So community informatics is quite interesting because it's actually community-based, yeah, but it's looking into the informatics or the digitalization. Yeah. So I've been doing some work, especially together with UNIMAS, yeah, some years back actually, and they have institute called Social Informatics Institute, so in UNIMAS, that looks actually to solve the digital divide. So when we go to the rural areas, right, so they are definitely lacking in terms of digital infrastructure. So what we have been doing, starting with Barrio, and then I personally went to Baklalan in Sarawak, and then to Long Lamai. This Long Lamai is actually a remote Penan village, in Sarawak, and of course also in Sabah. I went to Kampung Buayan. You have to, last time, you have to go by 4-wheel drive, then you track, and you have to use, I think, 3 hanging bridges. So a lot of people who's maybe afraid of heights will not go there. And then you have to cross the river, you have to take a raft. So that is actually the journey to go to that village. And then, of course, we have also Pulau Larapan. So that's a kind of Bajau village, and also other areas. So what we wanted to do is actually, we wanted to put, of course, telecenters, so that they can communicate, so they can have digital access. But just imagine, for example, in Long Lamai, when you go there, they don't have electricity. So first you have to solve the electricity problem, and then you have to solve also. Okay, there's no building, so you then put to the infrastructure. And then what about the communication? So you have to use satellite communication, and very important. Then finally, these are Penan. So there many are definitely illiterate and so on. So you have to teach them not only how to use the computer, but also so some of the basic education, and then trying to find what's the use actually. What we found is actually many of them, especially in the rural areas, the children, grandchildren study in Kuching, for example, or in Semenanjung. And definitely, of course, even in UTM, we have many Sabah and Sarawak. During semester break, they don't go back because it's so expensive to go back. So just imagine, so finally, through this access, they are able to communicate with their children and grandchildren. So that, then after that, then we start telling them, okay, since you now know how to access the internet, you can look at the news and so on. Then we try to promote other things, for example, including tourism, because suddenly there's a lot of access and so on. So, and for example, you want to go to Long Lamai, from Long Bangai, you have to take a boat actually, to go through the river, and along the way you have to stop and push the boat. So that is actually something that is actually exciting. So it's a kind of ecotourism also for many. So okay, the point is actually when you want to put this ICT to the rural areas, there's many challenges. Just imagine if you want to put, you want to provide electricity, there's no electricity. So what do you do? So we have the engineers suggesting, okay, let's do a mini hydro. And of course, you need also the transformer. So you have to carry all this and to this remote area. And they say, okay, let's use helicopter. But some of the areas, the helicopter cannot land. So these are the challenges you have to face. So sometimes we take for granted, especially in the urban areas and so on. We take for granted, and then, okay, we demand 5G and we so late and so on. We always complain. Just imagine in the rural areas. So, but it's so important. And after a while, so in some of the other communities, we get them to, okay, maybe they can promote their homestay. They can promote their products and so on. So suddenly the world comes to them, and they can also go to the rest of the world. So that is actually the power of digitalization, yeah, especially for the remote. So maybe I stop there to give opportunities. Thank you, Fiza.
Thank you, Prof. Zaki. Okay, thank you, Prof. Zaki, on that. Sorry for the technical background. Okay, so Prof. Zaki mentioned regarding the importance and how digitalization and improve of even the facilities make a change, not only to the family but also to the tourism, and how they were able to leverage from the increase of the access to the livelihood from tourism. So just now Dato' Wei mentioned regarding the supply side of, or the business side of tourism, and also business, where you actually talk a lot as well, and touch a little bit in regards to efficiency and also service delivery. So I wanted to relate that to Mr. Yusno. So in your capacity as the Vice President Innovation and also of Malaysia Association of Convention and Exhibition, as well as supplier, how do you see this being embedded? Because that, actually link between the efficiency of the, the supply side or the business side to the communicating and making sure that it actually reach to the last milestone, which is the tourists and also the target group that we wanted to get. So perhaps can you share one successful way to ensure that successful communication and digitalization are able and has been successful in regards to tourism?
Okay, thank you, Fiza. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Happy to be here with my fellow panelists, Dato' Wei, Prof. Zaki. Before I can answer that question, I would like to say that the topic is very interesting because it is a blend of communicating our sustainable message, and at the same time we're looking into digitalization. And I think you all would know by now that not everything that is digitalized is sustainable. Yeah? So maybe if I can do a bit of a poll here with the audience, I just want to know if any of you here came by Grab car. Ada tak? How many of you here came by Grab car? Okay, how many of you have used Grab just as an app before? Grab? Good. So most probably you have ordered food, right? With Grab food, and maybe you have gone somewhere with Grab car. How many of you have chosen the option of adding the carbon neutral fee at the end of your Grab food or at the end of your Grab car option? Ada tak? Okay, not bad. For those of you who might be hearing this for the first time, you might wonder, ada ke option tu? Right? So I open my app again. I just want to know where the message is being hidden or is being shown. Okay, so if you open your Grab food, it is quite clear. Before you order, at the very bottom, there is an option for you to add 10 cents for a carbon neutral fee. Okay, this one basically Grab will do carbon credits lah. Okay, but for Grab car, it's a bit hidden. Okay, you are not able to see that until you click the 3 dots, more info. Then only you can see adding the carbon neutral fee. I think it's 20 cents nowadays, in order for you to do that, right? So I'm not sure the reason why for Grab food it is much easier to see. For Grab car, it's not as easy as you want it to be. Again, communicating the goal inside an app is super important, right? So, and then this is where I think as business owner, some of you may be part of it as well. When you're communicating your messages, it has to be very clear. And the first basic point that we all need to have is a website. Yeah, I think we can all agree with that, right? I think this is not an era where you say that every business must have a website. I think the era has passed, meaning this is a required. Yeah. So any sustainability effort or things related to ESG that you are doing has to be communicated well on the website. Okay. And of course, you can see nowadays there is the growing trend of sustainability education through travel emails. How many of you have received emails immediately after you book maybe an accommodation from a hotel, or from Agoda, or from trip.com, or from booking.com? Ada kan? It will say, what does it say normally? It will give you some advice, right? In terms of how to make sure your trip and accommodation is more sustainable, right? So this one involves maybe some tips on sustainable traveling, maybe some advice that you should be choosing an eco-friendly accommodation, right? So this could be some options that you're looking at when you're choosing an accommodation. And maybe for you to go for a public transport instead of driving when you are staying at that particular hotel. What about Airbnb? How many of you here is an Airbnb host? Not staying at an Airbnb, but how many of you here ada tak? Airbnb host, meaning you have a place and you're renting it out as an Airbnb. Ada buat business tu? Ada tak? Ada Okay, but if you're an Airbnb host, normally Airbnb will send you a lot of sustainability emails regarding tips on how to be a sustainable host. Right? Because it is more important for you to come out with all of these things that are very sustainable in your accommodation so that you will get more, I would say, visitors. How about airlines? How many of you travel with Mars? Okay, ada dapat tak banyak sustainability emails? Right? Even a lot of airlines right now, again, when you're purchasing tickets, it's the same thing. You have the option to pay for carbon neutral, right? It's a bit more expensive than your Grab kan. Normally it will take about 40, 50 ringgit extra. Okay, so even if you don't do that, there will be a lot more sustainability initiatives that you will be sharing in email. So this is actually a trend. Yeah, when you are sending out travel emails related to sustainability in terms of education. Okay. Now, I think when Fiza asked me about the association itself that I'm in, so I think Datuk Wei earlier mentioned about business tourists that is coming from the MICE sector or the business event sector. So this is what the association is all about. So we represent the bulk of companies who are basically doing business events, from meetings, incentives, conventions, conferences, and exhibitions. So this one covers from your event organizers to suppliers, venue owners, technology guys, contractors, logistics. So in terms of sustainability, there are a lot of factors that will be involved. And what we do as an association is that we encourage our members to subscribe to this initiative. It's a global initiative. It is called Net Zero Carbon Events, or NZCE. Right? It is actually initiated during the COVID era, 2021, and members who have actually pledged to go net zero events by 2050 are basically given a roadmap. So a lot of education, awareness are being done through that initiative, and we encourage our members to start calculating their footprint. So for example, events like this, yeah, we're having this sustainable tourism conference. It would be good to know what is the footprint that we are actually living. Yeah, semua ada footprint, guys. Yeah, water bottles, yeah, in plastics lah, the printed materials that you guys are receiving, yeah, the carpets. Because you can see a lot of exhibitions nowadays, especially in big convention centers. Kalau you pergi KLCC, exhibitions, they don't use carpets anymore. Yeah, carpets are actually doing away with carpets. It's actually saving a lot of carbon footprint. Then you talk about the booth, the exhibitions that you're seeing contractors building, right? Are they reusable? Where does it go after that? So in events, these are huge things. And only when you start understanding your footprint, then you can know how to reduce it year by year. It's not saying that you should make away with all of this, but once you start with a baseline, you can always strive better. If you know how many tons, kilogram of carbon dioxide that you are releasing, you would try to improve and to cut down some of the things until you get to hopefully net zero one day. So that is some of the things that we do in association. And we encourage the use of digitalization, as we know. And rest assured that not everything, as I mentioned earlier, not everything that is digital is sustainable, simply because apps runs on servers. I think you guys know by now, right? If people say they are on the cloud, dekat mana cloud? Data centers, right? Data centers runs on electricity. Electricity emits. Yep. So now we are looking at data centers that are running on renewable energies, right? So AWS, a lot of investments coming into Malaysia. I think you guys can see in terms of AWS, Microsoft, and recently I think Oracle, Google, and then the most recent one, Oracle. Oracle is coming in with almost $6 billion of investment, the latest one. So a lot of investment pouring into the country to ensure we have a better data centers, especially are powered by renewable energies. So I'm going to stop there. Maybe we can further explore into that later.
Thank you very much. I think what we actually see from what you share is that awareness is just knowledge, when you receive, but how you actually translate the knowledge into action is very important. And then after that, you showcase your sustainability effort, you make sure that you communicate well, but at the same time, you also need to continuously empower yourself, where associations in our country has been assisting their members to further increase the capacity in regards to sustainability effort. So maybe I can move to Prof. Back. In regards to training and resources, what type of training and also resources do you think would be most effective for tourism businesses to integrate digital productivity tools that promote sustainability in their marketing and operational strategies?
Thank you, Riza. Okay, that's quite interesting actually, because this is relating to capacity building, right? We look at the trend now in terms of tourism, right? So when just now you was talking about websites and so on. Okay, so tourism, yeah, the industry uses website and so on. So we are kind of still, that's called e-tourism, yeah. When we start using smartphones, then that's actually digital tourism. Yeah. But now we are moving further to smart tourism. This is actually where we start using also IoT sensors and so on. Yeah. So that's actually moving, and it covers various areas. So just imagine, yeah, tourists coming before coming to our destination, to Malaysia. They go through a certain process. Yeah, they want to find the best destination. So normally they go and search, or they ask their friends and or relatives, or they look at some websites and so on, right? So this is actually where the website comes in. So to find out about this destination, so that at least they know their investment is worthwhile, because they want to have a quality tourism experience. Yeah. So when they have decided, they book. Yeah. Of course, again using the digital tools, then they travel and come. Of course, there are various process there and so on. Like Dato' Wei mentioned, when you arrive, then you have to fill out all these forms and so on. It can be digital already now. Yeah. Most countries are already that. And then when you are actually at your destination, there are various things that can, there are various tools to help you. And finally, when you return, you can also, recall what you have done, and you can even rate your experience. of course, you have a lot of memories and so on. And nowadays, yeah, people take selfies with, so there's a lot of things. Okay, so looking at that value chain, so where is our workforce? When the tourist comes to our destination, they first thing they will ask, is there Wi-Fi and so on? So and then how to get connected. So our workforce must be digital ready. Yeah, they should be able to help. Yeah, and this is actually not specialist. Yeah, so literally all the workforce in the destination should be digitally literate. So which means they know how to help the tourists and so on, how to help them to get into whatever and so on. And definitely they ask, okay, where is the best place to eat? So they can show, the destination. And nowadays also, it's actually the staff need also to promote the destination. So they can use TikTok, they use the social media and so on. So you can see the whole range actually. Yeah? So they need to be IT savvy, digital savvy. Yeah. So to get our destination to be a very popular destination. So that is actually, so you can see that. And in terms of education, we have actually many graduates from tourism, but I think from yesterday we heard, okay, roughly around 8,000 students graduate every year from our universities and colleges, yeah, from public and also private, yeah. So that's a big workforce. Of course, during COVID, a lot of people don't have jobs, yeah, because suddenly, yeah, we were under lockdown, so people, the tourists cannot come in, yeah. So now we have what we call revenge tourism. A lot of people wanted to come and so on, and we have a influx of inbound tourists. So again, yeah. So previously, a lot of people after COVID stay away. Oh, this is not a good career. But now people, many of them are coming back, and we need more people. And one of the things that actually you should get, yeah. So we want to have also the housekeeping staff to be digital savvy, yeah. So just not, as I said, yeah. So only if you, okay, maybe at the reception and so on, but literally everybody, because the tourists can just ask anybody at the destination, and that person should be able to help, yeah. So but we are also going into various areas, like for example, like for tourism and so on. So all this require, yeah. So for example, we need our mountain guides, our nature guide, and also our city guide, definitely to be digital savvy too. Yeah. So and they can quickly find, okay, what is actually the best, and in terms of their storytelling. So this will help. Yeah. So you can see from that range actually, because as we move forward to smart tourism, yeah, where every value chain in the tourism is actually affected by the digital. So I would say, yeah, so literally it should be in the curriculum. Last week I had the opportunity to be in a group under the Ministry of Education. So they were looking towards a new master plan. So we are looking into this actually at the young age. We want also, our children, even at the preschool, because nowadays you see many parents they give their children tablets and so on, iPad to use and so on. So they're already exposed. Now it's actually getting the teachers also to be digital savvy. Yeah. But we see from that generation, we'll come to a point where everybody should be digital savvy. So with that actually, yeah, it encompasses the whole spectrum. Thank you.
Grab, apps, and all. So, but the thing is, when we talk about having an apps, usually people always associated that with costs, operating costs for businesses, and people always associated sustainability with high costs of operation. So I would like to ask from your experience, is it true? And how can we ensure that we would be able to accelerate usage of digitalization and also all strategies that can be linked to sustainability to be expedite on the ground and somehow enable the businesses to be still making some profit and still able to be profitable, but at the same time going into sustainability. I think that is also another questions that most of our businesses have when they wanted to embark into sustainability.
Okay, Lisa. Thanks for the question. The sustainability is a work that every one of us can do, regardless whether you are individual or you're in a small organization or big organization. However, it is not quite the same for digitalization. For just mom and pop shop, the amount of digitalization can be very limited. Some of the basic ones, such as like cashless payment, that can be done. But otherwise, because of the simplicity of that, how the organization, the small one, operates, there is little room for other aspect of digitalization. Because there are always this room for individual to seek knowledge, seek information. These are a lot of information tools that you can actually help you obtain information. But other than that, it is not so much about digitalization, but being a digital user themselves. However, when it comes to the larger organization, when the volume of whatever, the transaction, the information flow becomes enormous, then digitalization, it is imperative. That means it is a must. It is no longer possible. Let's say, for example, when I attend the Global Leadership Conference, WTO, you're talking about 3,000 people. 20 years ago, we used to have like each one carry one backpack, literally, because there are a lot of information. There are a lot of sessions and all this. They're all printed. So that has been like adding a lot of burden, and then we need to carry it back. But in the last 7-8 years or so, they're all on apps. So with the scale, the apps will make sense. And in addition to that, because it gives a lot of continuity, it gives us a visibility of various aspects, including what Prof said about the IoT. Because our phone, we may not know. Our phone is called smartphone, and it has a lot of hidden smartness that we don't even realize. It has a location sensor that you know already because it ties to all kind of location, what I call locators. But you also have the compass. It has the what I call gyro capabilities. It has many other ways, wireless capabilities, such that you do like all kind of near field communications. So there are so many things that our devices could actually be used to collect information. Hence, it is also touching on a sensitive area. How much this digitalization would kind of encroach into privacy? That's another topic. But then we are not touching on that today. We talk about how to actually provide the convenience, how to make sure fulfillment is done when there is a volume. So the businesses will have to weigh the so-called the scale that they are in. While weighing this, what we often talk about is this: if you are always contented with doing like only like 10 transactions a day, then it is okay because it's your life. But if you want to grow by leaps and bounds, then digitalization is good too. Why? Because first of all, it is a good mean to promote any of those products, services that you may have. The promotion, we are more used to the so-called Western channels, like the Instagram, like the whatever KOL associated with that, the Facebook of the world, the emails and so on. There is this largest chunk of the visitors that's actually from China, that they have different digital ecosystem. TikTok is used internationally, but in China they use Douyin. It's the same app, but it's actually the Chinese version. The WeChat for communication. And WeChat has a lot of capabilities because it's WeChat Merchant, it's WeChat Pay, of course, is WeChat, what they call that, just like Instagram as well. Right? It combines the Facebook, Instagram, Alipay equivalent all in one. And one area that I may want to highlight is the Little Red Book. It's an app that literally covers all the search engine. That means the Google of the world, the equivalent to TikTok of the world, and a lot of sources of information. So a lot of people promote that. I am aware that the Malaysian merchants that utilize Little Red Book to promote their products and services has been seeing in the last 1 year, has been seeing enormous growth of their revenue and whatever products sales. So promotion is one of them. Communication is second part of it, like what Osara mentioned. And the third one is actually the experience, the enhanced experience during the stay, during the usage of products, during the visit, because you can already see a lot of museum this day. The visits is augmented by a lot of digital tools, the apps, the information, the AR and so forth that help to enhance the experience. And post experience and how it gather feedback, information, and follow up and cross-sell, upsell, and so on. So therefore, for those who are more so-called ambitious to scale up their organization, their business, digitalization is excellent tool.
Thank you, Dr. Wei. I think here we can see that you actually have broken it down into several sections. One part on digitalization and how that will be able to be utilized by the businesses, and then how second part is on communication, and next is at the last milestone, I would say. So my next question is actually to Mr. Yusno. So, but that actually relate to the third part, which is in regards to the content, communicating to the tourists and all. Is that Dato' Wei mentioned about the little book, and that is basically one of the apps that can be used. But in regards to the receiving end, which is the tourists themselves, what kind of content, since you are doing exhibitions as well, what content that is most resonant with tourists in regards to sustainability, and how can the tourism businesses create compelling narrative, or how do we actually make it most effective to reach out to the sustainable conscious tourists and promote the initiative?
Thank you, Pizza. Good question on the most effective content types. Okay, let me start with a question again. Polling everyone. Because I like to do polling because everyone is looking down again. So I just want them to look up. Okay, so the poll goes like this. How many of you, or where do you guys consume most of your contents? Is it TikTok or Instagram? I'm just gonna avoid Facebook for now. I'm just gonna go with that two first, yeah. TikTok, guys. Alamak, tak dapat cerita pasal Fatah Fazura kat sana ke? Don't lie. Okay, IG. Okay, the rest maybe Facebook or traditional Google berita harian. Sorry to say WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp. You guys are forwarding a lot of messages, right? Okay, I'm a TikTok guy, so I go a lot of. I go through my news, whatever that I want to. TikTok is my new Google. My wife is a IG person, so I don't go. Normally when we share, we have to open in IG. She has to open in TikTok. Okay, that's how we share our contents. My daughter is also on TikTok. She's 16. So yeah, my daughter is 16. So both of us basically consume a lot of TikTok contents. Now, it's not easy to create effective contents, right? Because it really depends on your audience, right? Who are you targeting? Yeah, just like how you're gonna sell your product. If you are selling B2C, would I recommend you to go on Facebook? LinkedIn? Most probably not, right? But if you're B2B, most probably you're gonna do a LinkedIn ads or maybe a Google ads instead of Facebook ads. I think same goes with the content that business is trying to create in relation to sustainability. Okay, let's give you an example. Okay? Do you guys know Kumar's family? They were appointed as Tourism Malaysia ambassador, right? Right. I think recently or maybe last year. Recently, right? Why? Yeah, for those of you who do not know him, basically Kumar is Malaysian, got married with an American, and they are basically staying abroad in America. So once in a while, they will come back to Malaysia lah. So they do a lot of vlogs. They have their own YouTube channels. Yeah, and majority of the followers, I would say, are Malaysians. Yeah. So when they came back, this one time, basically they visited Tourism Malaysian office and then appointed as the ambassador. Right? Is that a good move? Okay, I would say so. Yeah. Now let's compare that with, you guys know Khairul Aming, KA? Of course you guys know, right? So what did he do recently? He went to New Zealand, right? And what did he do over there? Okay, right? With the fresh ingredients, with the nice background of New Zealand, can? So is he promoting New Zealand? In a way, yes, to the Malaysian public. Right? Yeah, at the same time, because of that, yeah, he managed to meet the Prime Minister of New Zealand when he came down to Malaysia. So imagine if you're trying to promote Malaysia, right? Would you get someone outside, right, who has a huge foreign followers rather than Malaysian followers and talk about Malaysia? That'd be a good approach as well. I think this is what we did with Malacca, right? Malacca has what? Fan Bimbing, right? Right. Yeah. So I think that was a good move, even though some of, yeah, not so good publicity in a way. They're always good pro and cons to that. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that if we use the right KOLs, key online leaders or influencers, right, for the right purpose, especially those who are doing a lot of the sustainable or sustainability initiatives, that could be a way to promote your brand, to promote your business, to promote your destination, to promote your areas, your hotels, your homestays, etc. And if you do it at using the right channel with the most effective contents, I think it would be in a way viral. That's what you want at the end of the day, right? To get the message out correctly. Okay? So that's on the messaging. Now, I would like to touch a bit on AI as well. Yeah, I think right now is the age of AI again. I don't think anyone here who does not use ChatGPT kan? Kalau tak the Plus or Pro version, most probably the free version kan? Now, do you guys know that AI is more than just ChatGPT? That one is more on the Gen AI lah. But AI, as in machine learning, has a lot of, it's a bigger and wider area. Now let's look at contents repurposing. Okay, have you guys heard of this word contents repurposing? Because previously, for example, our session kan, it could be 1.5 hours. So you got it on video, hopefully, ada. Okay, you got it on video. So how can you repurpose this into bit size or short clips, right? So maybe what you can do is, if you're on TikTok and IG, you would do part 1, part 2, part 3, right? So you can cut it into maybe 20-second or 30-second blurbs, right? Because each one of us has different messages, right? Has different content, but you don't want everyone on TikTok to listen to 1.5 hours of this guys talking. You just want the key message. So this is what repurposing is all about. Taking the entire length of content and turn it into maybe short blurbs, or even blog posts, or even a series of posts in LinkedIn, in Facebook. And all of this, guess what? You can do it with AI. There are a lot of AI tools out there that you just feed this video of 1 hour, and then you just tell the AI that, okay, I want a blog with 100 words, with a 3 or 4 series. Please help me churn out for me. So if you're able to get all of these sustainable contents, either from events or from your influencers, KOLs, and then repurposely, you can actually do wonders. Yeah, imagine what you can do from this 1.5 hour session and turn it into, I do not know, maybe UNDP or MOTAC punya TikTok ke kan. Kena buat a good background sound ke kan, whatever it is kan. And then to actually get the younger generation out there to get interested into what we're talking about, rather than the ones in our generations lah kan. Because as you can see, you're not getting that many students or younger generations in the hall. So that could be how you are repurposing contents for different audience using digitalization as well. Okay.
I think that's very insightful even for me. Because thinking ahead of how we can actually further turn all of this into knowledge, because the conference itself has a lot of sessions. We have 8 parallel sessions ongoing. So 4 currently, concurrently is ongoing. Another 4 in the afternoon. We have morning sessions, and later on we're going to have policy dialogue as well in the afternoon. So I think over there, that is something that we can definitely think about as well in regards to utilizing and also using digitalization and communication towards sustainable tourism. So I'm going to stop here for my question. I'm going to open the floor to the audience, participants in the room. If let's say you have any questions to our panelists, please feel free to go to the mic, introduce yourself, which organization you are from, and ask away your question. Please make it short and concise. Any question from the audience? Okay, please. Miss Wan.
Michael, thank you very much. My name is Wan Faiza from Amanah Lestari Alam. We are a foundation by Bank Pembangunan. As a baby boomer, I learned a lot today. Not really realizing that I'll be learning a lot, especially about the repurposing. My question is, I have 3 things to ask. Number 1, I see digitalization and conversation on conservation as an oxymoron. Yeah? Because as we know, technology uses a lot of carbon footprint. In the short term, what I know the long term of the long term benefit, but in the short term, yeah, how can we address this issue to make sure that real impact can be felt immediately? That's number 1. And number 2, my question is, I've seen a lot of conversation on sustainability. How do we make sure that this conversation on sustainability is sustainable in the long term and not just being seen as ticking the box or green financing, greenwashing. Yeah. Last point, this one I really like T.S. Muhammad Yusno sharing about on conference how much carbon footprint that we are taking, usage of carpets, etc. And I would like to share something that I would like everybody here can take home immediately, that we can immediately practice to contribute to carbon footprint. Number one, all the water bottle that we have here, please drink sampai habis, so that will not go to waste, because that also uses a lot of energy. Number two, when we eat, especially sambal tumis ke apa ke, make sure that kita punya sudu, garfu, pinggan tu licin, so that when we clean in the sink, none of the oil will go into our waterway. That can be practiced immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. I like the use of the word oxymoron there. So it's not about being moron or anything. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes we can always mistook the word of technology to be, or digitalization to be sustainable. I mean, I run my own technology company, but at the same time, I had to tell my team that we have to do it. We have to do things differently and not just tell everyone that if you go digital, you will be sustainable. Because as I mentioned earlier, it involves a lot of energy emission. Because we are a servicing sector. We don't have any stocks with us. Everything is manpower and electricity. Okay, even during COVID, we were basically doing virtual conferences. And everyone will say, yes, definitely, virtual conference is running at a low carbon emission compared to actual conferences. But it does emit carbon footprint. Yeah. So this is where we have to look at, number one, I mean, for our company, in terms of moving our data centers to a renewable energy data center. So we made that step 2 years ago. So aligning with what AWS because we saw that everything. So basically, our apps, Event Assist, is all on AWS. Into this area as well to understand your footprint first. You need to know what is your baseline, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, then only you are able to reduce it. Okay, so understanding emission. Now, to answer your second question is how we're going to continue this conversation and not just make it as a greenwashing. I do agree with you that normally you will stay in this room, and if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Now that some of us here are already sort of like a certified champions, what I would say is you have to do it. You have to act on what you say. Yeah, it's all about taking that first step. Yeah, if you do not know about ESG, you do not know about sustainability, you just enroll to any 101 course out there. Simple as that. That's what I did 2-3 years ago as well. When people are talking about sustainability, ESG, apa benda ni kan, apa technology company nak jadi sustainable, apa lagi, everything, nothing on paper, those kind of things. But I still subscribe or I still enroll into some courses to educate myself. That's the first step. After you educate, you look at your internal practice. What else can you do internally in the company? Right? Separate your trash, your waste. Yeah, because all of that, I mean, another example that I would love to give here is that venues kan, kalau you perasan, not many venues in Malaysia are sustainable in terms of managing their waste. And what I've seen in KLCC, KLCC one of the best, I would say, sustainable venue in Malaysia. What they have done is that at the back, masa waste management, is that they have people to take out all of the trash and separate it before it goes and be decomposed and everything. So what they have done is that for every exhibition starting next year, every booth kan, kalau you all ada exhibition, you all ada booth, kalau you perasan dekat setiap booth, they will have a bin kan, one bin, trash bin, right? Satu je bin kalau you perasan. Any exhibition that you go, ada satu je bin. That's where all your trash goes. Who's gonna do the separation? The back end guys. But what they have done is that they're gonna enforce two type of bins starting next year. Satu is your non-recyclable waste and the other one is a recyclable waste. That's what they have done starting next year. So if you go to KLCC next year, you akan nampak every booth akan ada two different color. One is normal, the white one. The other one is the blue or the grey one yang ada tulis recyclable waste. So I think it's all about action. Action speaks louder than what we are doing, which is words today.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I'd like to ask if let's say there's additional questions from the floor. Okay, maybe we can go the lady at the back first, and then after that, Miss Lisa.
Assalamualaikum, good afternoon. My name is Marisa, I'm from Spaceside Group. I think we've heard a lot of suggestions on what businesses can do so that they're able to communicate and translate and digitalize their companies and their venues, their hotels, so that they can become more sustainable and promote sustainable tourism. I think my question is twofold. The first question is, a lot of these initiatives, are there any discussions at the policy level? Is it being considered as part of a revamp of perhaps the Tourism Act or any other new tourism policies that may be coming up, noting also the Sustainable Tourism Roadmap? Second is, what can big companies, what can travel agents, or just now we were talking about Agoda booking and what they are already doing, but what can these bigger companies do to help propel and facilitate this transition? Like, can they be a facilitator? Can they be a facilitator to translate the policies and also the best practices, and sort of like hold their own mini conferences for their supply chain, for their partners, so that their partners are able to, like whoever lists on their website, are also able to transform themselves towards more sustainable tourism practices. So are there any of these plans in the future? And then and I think third part of my question is that, is there like a regional cooperation in this? Because yes, right now we're focusing on Malaysia, but next year is ASEAN 2025, where Malaysia is ASEAN chair, and 2026 is Tourism Malaysia year. So I just wanted to ask these questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the first question is in regards to does the Sustainable Tourism Conference would be able to revamp or change into policy? Is there any?
Well, it's a very macro question. If you look at the volume of visitors to Malaysia, we estimate this year would hit about 30 million visitors. And we have 32 million population. So you're talking about managing the logistic of 30 million visitors. So that involved from the public sector, various agencies. It will certainly tax a lot on all the infrastructure. So infrastructure planning to be able to cater to the arrival of visitors and that will continue to increase from now on, right? So therefore, planning for infrastructure, anything from the most basic thing like electricity to water supply, clean water, waste management, road system, the entire logistic. That's actually from infrastructure planner and policymakers' point of view. There's a need to really put an active thought on the holistic one, because otherwise our calculation tend to kind of cater to our own population and therefore may actually overlook this one big factor, not to mention several million of the foreign workers that perhaps there's some official statistic and unofficial statistic that will run into X millions. Now, second is actually custom and immigration. That is another huge area. In the past, it has been a serious bottleneck. And of late, I've been hearing very, very positive comment about going through our immigration. because the autogate practice is one that is open to many countries that has the smart chip. So that is very helpful, and that could be an example that allow policymakers to drive a lot more such digital initiatives. The other one that we often neglect is actually security aspect. It's actually taxing on our security of apparatus, because the police force of the world, the other so-called emergency response, the hospitals and all this, these are the areas that will actually be taxed as well. So as such, for tourism, on one hand, we would like to get the what I call that, the contribution to the GDP. Like last year we expect about 71 billion, and this year it may hit closer to 100 billion. We're talking about 4.5% contribution to the GDP. So that policymakers' so-called consciousness and preparedness to enable this kind of growth, it has a certain time lag there. So therefore, through conferences like this, we would like to kind of call upon various policymakers, regulators, enforcers, and so on, to kind of align to the wider goals. Just to kind of respond to the other earlier question, the oxymoron about sustainability and digitalization. I recall there's one case study that I have read. I thought it's very interesting. It is about a company called Getaway. You can Google this, Getaway, and it was established before COVID. And the tagline is actually disconnect to connect. So in other words, the focus is actually the city dwellers that are actually living in a very small compound that need to have the space. So during the weekends, they can have a getaway about 1 to 2 hours away from the cities. So they then find their location in the park and so on, natural places, and they put those cabins, each of location about 40 of such cabins. And they promote, of course, to promote all this through digitally. And then before going there, they were then conditioned by giving them short video clips, giving them communication such that it builds the excitement, it builds the expectation, and it prepares them mentally to get into this eco-friendly environment. There are various activities with the nature. However, the moment you get in there, all your phones are actually kept in the locker. Of course, it's optional. They will not confiscate, and there's no Wi-Fi. And hardly those places have signal. So it is meant to connect with people, not with anyone that's 10,000 miles away. So that we may say oxymoron. However, the tools, the digital tools are so greatly used, pre-experience, and a post-experience, they put up, because they have the CCTV, they also capture some of the footage and all these experiences, then they post it back to the visitors. And the business literally took off during COVID. Why? Because people want to get away from the city. So as such, it is used to serve certain purpose. It is not like meant for all the situation. And lastly is this, sustainability has cost. People, when they choose to go on anything easy, convenient, free, then it will be free to them or easy to them, but it costs the environment. So therefore, I actually bring my own coffee to this conference. I don't use a bottle. Now, for a country to really get into that level of sustainable practices, voluntary practices usually is not sufficient. Mandatory so-called requirement, should there be a net zero and carbon tax and so on, that is actually introduced, then there is a cost that people know. Whatever I consume, whatever I do, it actually costs the environment such that then I have to pay for it. So it creates that new consciousness when people have to pay for it. When it's free, people just use it. So I may think that it is a paradox. On one hand, we want to give more convenience, but on the other hand, we may have to educate on the cost that may have to be imputed in for the sustainability.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusno. Okay, for the first question, in addition to what you have mentioned, Datuk, in regards to whether or not the sustainability is going to be embedded into policy and all, actually later in the afternoon, we are going to have a policy dialogue where we are going to uncover that session. So please stay tuned and you will actually have even more elaborated answer during that session. Okay, so thank you very much for your answer. I would like to invite the third and last, unfortunately, because we are going to be going to break now. Miss Lisa, if you.
Hello, I'm Lisa from UNDP. My question would be in regard to behavioral insight, because we talk about, on a higher level, on providers. Is there any specific effort being made to encourage tourists to make informed decision about sustainable tourism option? For example, in Singapore, the Ministry of Health, they actually have this grading on their food packaging since 2023, so that the audience or the public can make informed decision in purchasing food. So grade A to grade D, okay, this one has like more sugar, more fat. So I just wondering on private sector or maybe any agencies trying to implement and encourage the public to make informed decision. Is there such a rating? Maybe some companies do ESG, but do we implement it for providers in tourism sector? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. I want to focus on the behavior part. Yeah. Okay. So when you started, yeah, Lisa. So we are actually also looking into behavior insights and so on, because I think a lot of policies, of course, sometimes doesn't work because it's not based on our behavior. There's a lot of things actually that we should be looking at. Yeah, because it's again looking at the mindset of the so when you want to implement that for tourism, so we have to look here, because for example, even Malaysians, yeah, so those from Kuala Lumpur, those are in Malacca and so on, although they are Malaysians, but the way they behave sometimes are totally different. Yeah. So by looking into this actually, so the various tools, yeah, for example, in behavior insight and so on, we can look into and maybe in that sense, yeah, come up with better practices. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can nudge them to do certain things that I think our champion, yeah, Rohizam, is looking, and after attending the behavior insight and so on, and talking to, yeah. So we are looking into those, some of this, for example, in terms of food practices and so on, yeah, our wastage and so on. So trying to put, I think his plan is actually to even put the sugar content, yeah. So not just calorie, but also sugar content, yeah. So that kind of inform, yeah. So because now our public is actually more conscious on these issues and so on. So if they are health conscious, then that kind of behavior will help us also for the sustainability. So there are various things actually. You know?
If I can give you an example of what we are doing, I think behavioral is all about data. So as long as you can collect data, you can do many things with the data. So what we have done with our own software is that we are allowing our delegates who attend our event, I mean our clients' event, to project their carbon footprint by virtue of understanding their travel itinerary. So we give them as an option. So right after you purchase a ticket from our system, a questionnaire will be sent out. So again, it's optional for the delegate to answer, but it will basically determine from where you're flying, from which airport, you're going business class, economy, or even if you're driving, are you using an EV car or ICE car, right? And then the summation of that data will then be presented to the organizer. And this is where the organizer can act upon the data, right? In terms of whether they can advise, send out a pre-email before the event. They can advise them to do car sharing, yeah, if they see that the numbers are a bit on the high side. Or they can use the data to offset later on, yeah, in terms of the actual carbon projected. So like I said, a lot of these behavioral insights can be acted upon once you are able to collect the data. But unfortunately, at the moment in time, I mean, based on the responses that we are getting from even the survey itself, it is not that encouraging in the sense that out of maybe 1,000 delegates that come, maybe 5 to 10% that would actually respond to those emails. Yeah. So I think it is still something that we need to encourage. Education still has a long way to go. But I think, yeah, that would be one of the ways.
That quickly, behavior. What I understand from behavioral science is this. The behavior options and behavior decisions, it stems from knowledge. But the root of that is actually coming from the value system, what you truly believe in. And therefore, in order to kind of really guide the behavioral option and decision, the fundamental part is really to kind of inculcate the belief and also the value system. So hence, it comes from the education. It comes from the culture. It comes from the family. It's the environment that already continuously reinforce that belief. And of course, subsequently, people do this not because of ritual. They do this because they have the knowledge of how it is costing the environment such a damage and so on. So the damage, the knowledge will enhance the practice of the values and the belief. Then the behavior will come naturally. That's one aspect. I look at how China implement this to enforce behavior, to enforce morality. It is with the use of technology. You know, a country of that population size, 1.3, 1.4 billion people, surely there are a lot of people who try to take shortcut and so on. However, the crime rate is among the lowest in the world. And there lies the debate. Why? Because a lot of CCTVs in so many places. A lot of what they call facial recognition as well. And you know, the high-speed train, one train, let's say the recent one I took from Shanghai to Beijing, it has something like 20 different coaches. And it could take 1,000 people, just one go. To go through the gate of 1,000 people, can you imagine to kind of clear the gate, right? If you have to check one by one, it's so tough, right? So in this case, scan password, facial recognition that was captured earlier when I entered the station is actually true already. So then you don't have people who try to kind of run into the coach and argue about not paying and all this kind of thing. So they use technology to enforce behavior and morality. So that is another option.
Okay, thank you, Dato' Wei. Thank you. One last question. Make it very short, please, since we are already extending our time.
Thank you. My name is Hafiz Hanafia from Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, University of Rajimara Puncalam. I just want for our discussion to get back to the themes. The themes is sustainable communication and digitalization, which is actually spot on. But then again, I'm not going to argue on the issues. My concern is digitalization is the in thing right now. But when we talk about tourism, our focus should be on the community. And most of our community are working with small and medium enterprises. And the biggest issue with them is to digitalize and to make it sustainable. I mean, the digitalization activity must be sustainable. That is actually a big issue. So I'm not going to talk about the problems. What I would like to know, how we could go forward. I mean, how we could make digitalization effort sustainable among these SMEs. You know, this is the biggest concern. I'm going to quote an example. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in Malaysia, we can see a lot of Malaysian homestay trying to go for digitalization. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. I mean, perhaps there's a lot of issues on, developing the websites, the apps, you know, but then again, maintenance is actually a problem for Malaysia, maintaining the platforms. So I would like to hear, how could we actually help our SMEs, especially our community-based tourism operators, in making their digitalization effort sustainable? Yeah, that will be my 2 cents, and would like to know your point of view.
Do you want to hear good news or bad news? Okay, bad news first, right? So for sure, there will be some people who are left over in the ecosystem. You know, in the jungle, you don't find all the big trees. You'll always be some of the trees that are also old, and then they'll die, and so on. There will be new growth. There'll be new, enhanced level ecosystem. So when it comes to digitalization among SME, unfortunately, the bad news is that it's likely to happen that way. However, we are very fortunate to have such a benevolent government and policymakers that will continue to want everyone to grow and be ready to be competitive, to be sustainable, right? So such programs can be put in. You could try to feed a lot of these people, give them awareness, give them mindset changes, give them incentive, and give them capacity building like trainings and all this. But at the end, they have to eat the food themselves. So some may, for some reason, have chosen that, you know, they prefer their old ways, therefore would be left behind. And hence, the third part is this: the danger, if it is well understood, people will change. People, if they know that they are going to suffer, they're going to kind of fade away, then they could do something about this. But if they are still like in a comfort zone, that's where a lot of things would not happen. I hope that, you know, we take a practical approach. We do whatever we can, but they, the stakeholders, will have to do their part.
Okay, thank you very much for the response. To add on further to that, in the afternoon, we actually have another session in regards to kickstart the business for small businesses on sustainable tourism. So maybe if you wanted to know more, you can join that session later on. So before I close the session, I would like to do a little bit of wrap up. I think that this session has uncovered a lot of things. It is an eye opener for everyone. I think that we actually achieved what we wanted to learn in regards to communication and digitalization, and how important it is for the tourism industry. So we cover from the business side in regards to the supply chain. We are also looking into the awareness. We look into the communication, how important it is to understand, how important it is to communicate effectively regarding our sustainable practices, as well as to understand before we can even make a change on the ground. And we also look into the importance of having the digitalization and communication curriculum embedded from young, from university, to ensure that this is something that is continuous and building up the capacity of the nation in the long run. And we also have very interesting questions and very insightful answers to it, ranging from policy, ranging from the corporation, and how behavioral insight and also small businesses should also be part of this and so that no one is left behind. So with that, I would like to thank all our panelists for their time and also their expertise in sharing their knowledge as well as your participation for the audience. So I will hand over to you back, MC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our esteemed panel and moderator for the engaging discussion on leveraging digital tools and communication strategies for the cause of sustainable tourism. I'm sure we've all gained valuable insights and fresh perspectives. Let's give our panel another round of applause. I would now like to invite Ms. Nur Hafiza to present a token of appreciation to our three speakers. First, to Dato' Wei Chuan Beng, the Chairman of Digital Way Group and Champion of Digital Productivity Nexus. Professor Dr. Ahmad Zaki bin Abu Bakar, Dean of the Institute of Technology Management and Entrepreneurship, University Technical Malaysia Melaka. And lastly, Mr. Muhammad Yunus bin Muhammad Yunus, CEO and founder of Evanescence YA Sendirian Berhad. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now just ask the panel to remain on stage for a short group photo. Thank you again, everyone. And ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to refuel and recharge. I hope you're ready for a well-deserved break and delicious lunch. Lunch will be served at Makan Kitchen on level 1, just 1 floor below. And don't forget to take the opportunity to visit the exhibition booths located on the ground floor. We'll reconvene at 1:45 p.m. for the afternoon parallel sessions, so please be sure to return promptly. In the meantime, enjoy your lunch, selamat menjamu selera, and bon appetit. Thank you.